I understand how you can get PTSD. You've seen some things. Yeah. There's people that haven't been in war and combat saying, I got PTSD. And I'm like, I got a question. You know, how you get that and what you see that's giving you some type, because I grew up in the hood. So they kind of told me I had PTSD, and I was just like, yo, I'm just a little off. You know, I don't call it PTSD. I'm just like, you know, sometimes you gotta talk to me different.
Yeah, a little off. I feel you.
Okay,
but check this out. To answer that question and answer accurately, life can cause you PTSD.
Facts.
Period. I'll mess your head up and I'm gonna give you some personal, I'm gonna divulge some personal. My son has had craniofacial surgery, a third of his skull removed, replaced with titanium because he had tumors growth in his skull. I had to watch my child's face get pulled off, back of the skull get pulled off, and they cut it out.
Hey, welcome to KROSS BARZ, where we discuss interesting topics with alternative perspective. I'm your host, Big O, and I have with me...
You got Tanae in the building with our guest today, none other than, who are you, sir?
Major Donwaygo Moore Sr. How you doing?
Yo, right, if you notice, he had the... He said, hold up, wait a minute. Hold up, I just caught it. See, I was calling you Donwaygo Moore Sr. Wait a minute, you got a nickname. It's official now. The Major Don. Major Don. How you not have that? Yeah, call me Major Don. I got a, you know, I got an offer that you can't refuse. You know, make him an offer. Major Don. Oh, okay. I apologize. This is what we doing for the rest. When I'm addressing you, Major Don. Oh my God, mate. I wish I had. Look, I want y'all to tell. I'm gonna make this a secret, right? Yo, back in the day, right, when I was in high school, when I got a little bit mature, I stopped doing it. But high school, I was totally mature. You know, you can still see it. But when I was in high school, I used to tell people my middle name was Super.
Super?
Yep, Super. Because you know my name is Omar Super Long.
Oh my God.
Bam! See? Caught you walk right into it. Bam! Oh my God. See, you know what I mean? I feel like this. It was like, so by the time they figured out my name, it was like, knock it off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Couple of my homegirls.
It's off.
Yeah. Look, couple of my homegirls. No, I'm gonna tell you right now. I had listen, I'm telling you, I had way too many women in my life to put me in check. So that just was short-lived. And I'm gonna tell you right now, a couple of my homegirls put me right in pocket. It was like, your feet ain't big enough to have that name. I was like, hold up, wait a minute, hold up. Are we judging? Don't judge me. You know what I'm saying? Listen. Tim's is good. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. All right. Listen, I shop in the men's section. But you know, it's all good and everything. But you know, Major Don, man, it is great to have you with us. You know, it was kind of like different when I first heard. It was like, oh, I'm there for the military, you know. And I was like, yo, did he kill people? You know, fam, like what kind of story he gonna tell? Because I don't know where we was going with it. But then, you know, Tanae, she kind of hit me up and was like, nah, you know, he got a wealth of information, knowledge, and a lot of you know, just intellect and talking about armed forces. I have some, you know, some questions, you know, just historically, and I want to ask you about those. But let's talk about you, your story, and you know, things that you would like to introduce first and foremost.
Where you from, sir? Where you from?
I am originally born in Beckley, West Virginia, raised in Charleston, West Virginia. Super proud of that spot.
Hold on, wait. Say
Don't
that slower.
He's a hater.
No, he said, you said Beckley, Becky, West Virginia?
Beckley.
Oh, okay. Listen, fam, I'm sitting here like, they let y'all niggas like they let y'all like they told me in West Virginia, like slavery stopped in like 1982 or something, like around that time or something. Like y'all was still picking cotton, tobacco, and acorns.
Where that gun at, Wago?
All right, my bad.
Hey, which way you want?
She's like, what?
The chains doing.
What? That's it. Oh my God. So West Virginia. Okay. All right. We got you.
Born in Beckley, raised in Charleston, and what you got? So what made you want to join the military? You know, West Virginia, what made you want to do that?
To be honest with you, My mother, man. It's my mom, my stepdad. Growing up the way I grew up with my mom, and I know Mila, Janae, well, we all grew up from the same church and everything. Our whole goal, the way we were raised, was to take care of the family. And the best way for me to give back, my middle sister wanted to go to college. So the easiest way to get her to college was to go to the military and pay for it and try to help. So that was the move. That was the move to make the sacrifice and try to find my own way and try to find my own, sense of manhood out there in this world, because the only thing I'd ever seen was West Virginia. And I'm gonna tell you, West Virginia is a microcosm of life. It's a very small spot. But when I walked out into this world, man, I'm gonna tell you, the values that we hold in West Virginia have not only blessed me, but carried me through many storms and many trials out in this world. Because the funny thing is, a lot of people don't hold family as dear as you do back home. And you'll find out many different cultures, many different people, many different ways, even in our own culture. So the whole concept for me was, my mother said, to be a friend, find yourself friendly. So I made many different friends from many different cultures. I can go anywhere in the world right now, have a place to sleep and a place to eat, never be homeless. It's crazy.
It was Major Don.
Major,
Like anyway you lay down.
hey, right?
Major Don. The Major Don is in the building. But so now coming from a community in West Virginia, being African American, I know you probably face some real issues per se as talking about race. How did you were able to maneuver in the military? Because I have never served in the military, so only perspective I have of the military is my grandfather, my father, and some of relatives, and even some of my friends who joined the armed forces. But how was the, let's say, microcosm of West Virginia pertain to the military? Was it equal? Like, I've been dealing with racism all my life, so this was real easy, or what was kind of different, or it was like, what, they built me this way and I can endure it?
Yeah, well, great question, and I'll tell you exactly how this worked. There are levels. There are levels in West Virginia of racism, the levels around the United States, and even abroad. But in the military, the first thing they tell us at basic training is everybody's green.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, wow, this is cool. So the concept of inclusion and assimilation, the assimilation was this. It wasn't for me to become, as white people, Asian people, Indian, African. It was for me to become a soldier. So in doing that, I took that to heart and I nested that inside my core being in reference to who I wanted to be and who I wanted all my soldiers to be able to trust. So I came across racism multiple times. But this is the funny part. As it came against me, or came at me or at my soldiers, rising above it by being the man I am and the soldiers that I wanted serving under me, we learned to respect ourselves in a way to where we didn't ignore it. We addressed it head on.
Oh, wow. Even with like maybe a superior and using that.
Let's be for real. I had a conversation with a 1-star. I had a conversation with a full bird. At the time, I was only a captain.
Wow.
But the whole concept was this. Number one, I'm a man. And if you want to speak at me, not speak to me, but you want to speak at me in that form, understand you're going to get the man. But if you want to speak to me, sir, respectfully speaking, I will respect your rank, but I will not respect the foolishness. So the grown man in me is explaining to you right now, we can handle business or we can handle business. And that's just what it is.
Okay. Because what I've heard was that it was pretty much difficult sometimes on addressing racism in the military due to how much at stake you had. So for instance, my father was a complete screw up. I can say it honestly. God rest his soul. He was a straight screw up. Something in life as well. But in the military, he went in PFC-1. He went into Vietnam. He volunteered, didn't get drafted, which was a whole nother story in itself, and came out APFC-1. In the battle combat. However, looking at that, it was like, then talking to people saying, yo, that's almost real hard to do because you get
Yes.
certain ranks because you get certain ranks when you go to war, you get like a promotion because you were combat. And I was like, really? He was like, yo, he was bugging. And I was like, he kept on telling me he just never got over, people calling him nigger. Like he just didn't respect that. And anytime he got any type of little recognition or strike or whatever, they immediately got that taken off. And I was like, wow. And that was one of his things. It was like, yo, that ain't the place for a Black man to be in the military. So even when I was coming out of high school, I was similar to, many kids. I want to be a Navy SEAL. That was just the thing to be. I want to be a Navy SEAL. They do special missions and all this other stuff. And, that story was crazy because, relatives I was staying with, she kind of broke it down. It was like, yo, you getting good grades for, at high school, honor student, like you did that to go to the military. And I was like, I had to think about it. I was like, I was thinking of more or less, I'll be 18, I'll be on my own and I could support myself. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking for somebody to support me after 18 and I was nervous about that. So when that was my thought process, I was like, I got to consider it. But when the recruiter was like, man, look, come down, you only got to tell. You can do it behind her back and come down and, take the physical and she won't even know. And when he told me to do something kind of, that really, what I say, besmirched my character. Like, shouldn't have to sneak into the military, and for you to even suggest that, now I'm looking at you sideways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So watch this. I'm going to do this for you real quick. I'm going to talk to your 18-year-old self right now and tell you how it works.
Okay.
Since for me, I was in a recruiting battalion. And the whole concept is this: integrity, duty, honor, loyalty, selfless service. These are the creed. This is the mantra that we run. We should be running our life by as officers and also enlisted. Now, I'm going to walk you through my walk at 18 and a half, turning 19, joining as E2 private. Okay. Walking through the door, the first thing that happened to me was the pledge process. And I say the pledge process for a specific reason. Drill sergeants at that time in 1993, in June 1993, were more aggressive, more focused on breaking all the bad traits out of me to build up the best parts of me. And a lot of people don't talk to you about that. A lot of people don't want to give up those, put it this way, the traits that got you by, the slickness, the quickness, the hood game. The concept was this: let that go and allow the best parts of you to actually shine and be seen. Because my thing is this: do you not want, and a drill sergeant told me this, he said, do you not want your son to be able to look you in the face and be like, you're a man and I want to be just like you? And I said, the way I was before, maybe no, but the way I am now and what I've become, yes. Because what they built in me was a sense of, I can do this thing even when it's hard. I had to run 5 and 6 miles a day, do hundreds of push-ups, sit-ups, and this, that, and the third. I had to actually pick up a gun and fire a gun when I was against guns. I actually prayed about it. I was like, Lord, I don't want to kill nobody. That was me. My mom's a minister. Understand this? I'm going into the army.
Hey, like, man, that's
right.
Hey, I'm gonna just be straight up with you. I was like, God, I don't want to kill nobody. Now I don't want to put no gun in nobody's head or shoot at nobody. I said, I'm going to here because I got to put my sister through college. Now, once I get her there, I'm leaving. Let me, that was 28 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, 28 years ago. I was like, after I do this, I'm leaving, man. Bump this. And I got in there. This drill sergeant told me this the basic. He said, you know what I see in you? He said, I see an officer. I said, how can you see an officer? I have no education. He said, listen, the smartest man on earth is the man that knows how to read. And the man that knows how to read is able to interpret his future. I said, what are you saying? He said, if you can read and understand what you're reading, he said, you can map your future out. You can interpret your own future. You can decide what you want to become. He said, so understand this. You may be at basic training as a private right now. He said, but work your way through and get into the officer program. He said, if you need me, I'll write you a recommendation. Watch this. That drill sergeant was a member of Omega Psi Phi. He wasn't an officer. He's enlisted. He would sing cadences to us that would make your soul catch fire. I'm running 5 or 6 miles like, because he's singing, what is it? Left, right, go. And you sitting out there like, oh my God, let me stay up with him. And listen, his motivation, his hunger, his drive to make us better, man, it fired me up. I would have chills every day running down my spine at 4:30 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, ready to run with him. It got to the point we ran and he charged me and 3 other guys. He said, if you can't catch me by the end of basic, he said, you might as well quit the Army. We ran 6 miles with him. I had stayed up with him the first 3 times. The last time I saw him and he said, how dare you let an old man beat you? We had about 100 yards to go. I smoked that man. Do you understand me?
Got you.
When I got back to the end of the line, this drill sergeant saluted a lesser ranking soldier. He said, that's the officer I see in you. That was the first time somebody spoke life into me in a way. A man spoke life into another young man in a way. And this is the thing, somebody that looked like me, that had gone through as much or more than me, spoke life into me to where it fired up my soul to where I was like, you know what? I can be this thing, this dream that he spoke. How about a couple years later? Oh, mind you, I went into the Army. My first job was 97 Bravo, counterintelligence. And I'm gonna mess your head up. You got to score 90-some points on your ASVAB test to do that.
That's what I was about to say.
I fell asleep halfway through my test and scored a 97 even. I fell asleep on the ASVAB test. When my ASVAB test was done, I had a 97 on my score. I had finished it. Mind you, I go to Huachuca, Arizona to study to be a counterintelligence agent, learning all these different traits, how to shadow a person, how to interrogate and interpret. I'm sitting there like, wow, this is crazy. This is a lot different than West Virginia. You giving me this power? You feel? So I was like, cool. And then they did this. They said, since you're so young, you're not 21, you can't get your license. They sent me off to another training to be a telecommunications operator to learn how to do SATCOM, satellite communication, secure comms. How secure comms come down, I manage it and push it out to who it needs to be, who needs to receive it. And the funny part is 90% of them, they got stars on their chest. Mind you, this little boy, watch this, not grown man, this little boy passing some serious information to generals who are making serious decisions. And it's in my hands at that age, that responsibility at that age. You don't know nobody that's gonna give you that kind of responsibility at that age. And this is the other thing. And then another Black man spoke life into me to make me believe in myself that I could do this thing. Watch this. That same soldier, when I got promoted, was at my promotion and he wasn't even on the same installation. He traveled to watch me get promoted. He traveled 2 states over. This is the beautiful part. Then 2 Caucasian generals, General Guest and General Robeson. I'm working doing site-to-site, point-to-point communications for these guys. They're talking to people in Germany and Iran and Azerbaijan and Abu Dhabi. I'm managing, like you on the podcast right now, I'm managing. Hey, yeah, you on, talk, speak, do your briefing. Check this out. They turned around and said, hey, Sergeant Moore, what do you want to do with your life? I said, well, sir, I want to go to college. I've taken a few classes. I got 15 hours under me right now. He said, well, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? I said, well, I'm trying to finish getting my sister through school. I'm trying to help my family out. He said, well, look, we're going to help you out. 2 generals in the same meeting. They said, I'm going to write you a letter of recommendation. General Guest said, he sent his aide. He said, go write this letter for me. Bring it back so I can sign it. I had until June to get this packet in. It was May. It was crazy. I had 30 days to get this done. I had already taken my SATs and I had to take one more SAT because I needed the perfect score. And I'm gonna tell you something. This ain't about Wago. Watch what God did for me. I messed up 2 SATs. It takes 2 weeks for them to come in. Lieutenant Colonel Moore. What's my last name? Moore.
Moore. Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant Colonel Moore, Virginia State College, because I was at Fort Lee, Virginia. Black man sitting up there at the school said, look, I believe in you. Take that test. I took the test. I was doubting myself. This is how God worked for me. One of my soldiers and friends downstairs wants to get out the Army. He comes to me. He's like, look, I want to get out. This is a white kid. I want to get out. I said, well, go talk to the company commander. Have some faith and trust God. He said, I don't believe in that God stuff, man. Don't talk to me about that. I said, well, check this out. Just go to your room, pray first. Give him a chance. Go down there and ask. He goes down there with faith. This is crazy. Ask the company commander if he can get out. He wrote him a letter saying that he failed to conform. So he gave him an honorable discharge. Let him get out. He comes running to me, telling me it's going to happen. And I'm sitting there doubting God already about if I'm going to be able to get this package to become an officer. These two generals are writing me my letter. They bring the letter, General Guest A, General Robeson's A. They run back into the building with that, and they both sign off, and they're like, here, boom, these are our recommendations. I put everything in my packet. My SAT score is not back. That's the only thing I needed. I had 7 days to get it in. It was crazy. I'm y'all 7th guest. Watch how 7 works. This y'all 7 podcast. 7 days to get it in. God works in them numbers. Got it up there in time. My SAT came back. God told me this. He said, and I heard it in my head, it's Thursday, go to your mailbox. You know how your thoughts, you're sitting there, you're thinking, you're like, and you hear something just like, go to your mailbox. It's just like your conscience. I said, nah, I ain't going. I'm thinking to myself, nah, I ain't going. He said it again, go to your mailbox. I'm like, nah, man, I ain't going. The third time I was like, you know what? There might be something to this. I walked downstairs in my mailbox, my SAT score in there with the exact score I needed to get accepted to Hampton University, the only school that I applied for.
Wow.
I thought you was at West Virginia State.
No. Hampton University. I'm from West Virginia. I went to Hampton
no,
University.
you was like, I'm sitting in West Virginia State. Oh, you mean you were sitting in the school. I got you.
And it's crazy. I'm sitting there. The score is here. In the same thing, I send it off and I sent it to Hampton because they needed a score. In 3 days, Hampton sent me a letter saying you are accepted to Hampton University, Army ROTC. Oh, by the way, you are on scholarship. Every room, book, tuition, and board is everything's paid for. Plus, we're gonna pay you for coming. Let me read it. They're gonna pay me for going to college.
Yeah.
After paying for everything. Bruh, I get there, do great things there. Meet amazing African-American, Croatian, Indian, people from Irchetta, from Bermuda, from all over the world. Listen, matter of fact, I'll mess your head up. You know DJ Envy? Yeah, he was in my class.
I know a bunch of people went to Hampton.
Yeah. I know him personally. You feel me? He did 3 of my parties. I was throwing parties. He was DJing my parties.
Wow.
So you went to Hampton HBCU, and you went to an HBCU too, right?
I went to the best HBCU on the face of the planet. It's called Hampton? North Carolina A&T State University. You know what I'm saying? The best and the brightest. You know,
I hear you.
listen, if you can't do, you know, you do what you can. All right.
I hear you.
I'm not boasting.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. Watch this. But we have created some of the best talent on the planet. A young lady named Kendra G out there in Chicago, one of the best radio hosts out there in Chicago. She's killing it. But what I'm getting at is, and then you got my boy Omar Finley, who's down in Atlanta with the Learning Tree. Him and his wife have in their house a bookstore that has been, Oprah even praised them. They have authors coming in and talking to them and things. But these are my friends. These are the people that I'm getting to know from Little West Virginia, coming from basically nothing to seeing. Matter of fact, I'll mess you up. My little sisters were Steve Harvey's twin daughters. Yeah, you bring them on the campus, your little sisters that come in, new freshmen, his twin daughters were my little sisters. Yes.
Gotcha.
Crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So even out of all of that, I'm sorry, go ahead. And then I got another question for you after this.
Oh yeah, but it's just when I say that microcosm of life, it was so small what I had in West Virginia, what I thought was so vast and so massive. When I walked into this world, they showed me that the world was so much broader, that the capabilities and possibilities of life was so much greater, and that if I wanted to make an impact, all I had to do was reach out my arms and welcome in somebody that needed some assistance, period. I learned something in college. My job in this life was never to sit out here and just hunt for money or try to be rich and try to be famous. It was to be a servant leader, period.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I ever make an impact on anybody's life is if I do my best to support, take care of, and try to build them up and grow them. And that's how I lead. And in leading that way, I've gained rank. I've gained stature in the military. I've done things that most people never would have done. Shoot, I've been in an organization called Biometrics. I can't tell you the name of it, but they do facial, body, identity recognition. We've done that. I told you, I've made 5 commercials. We have my boss, James Cox. We did In Our Boots, the virtual, teaching you, letting you see with the Oculus what it would feel like to be a tanker, a sniper, all these different things. In Our Boots, Warriors Wanted. We even did the female minority officers campaign, where we took a young lady from Virginia State College, followed her, videoed her and everything, and put her out on the forefront on social media so that people could see that a young African-American female could be a brilliant and amazing Army officer.
So do you see differences, like you said, African-American females? I was looking at some statistics, and you do have Black females in there, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, I think this is like in 2016 was the last year at the time, but it was like 17% of the females in the military were African-American, like 17% of them were African-American. Can you see the disparity? Have you seen like females get to your rank? I know there's some historical, things with the females. So how did you view the females, in the Army?
Oh man, so that's a great question, because when you think about the Army, you often discount the worth, the effort, the impact of our sisters in arms. And I'm gonna be honest with you, all creed and culture. These women have to do exactly what we do, the push-ups, the sit-ups, the run, but that's just the physical aspect. But they also have to take the mental, emotional, political vigor, forgive me, not vigor, but the political heat that we take, and they have to perform at a higher standard, I hate to say it, than the men. But what you find out is these women are not only organized, focused, and dedicated, but they're prepared. And when I say prepared, they're ready for that. They're ready for that heat. And they put themselves in a position to where that they perform admirably, as well as men, and some a lot better. But at times you find they don't get the rank that they deserve. And it's a little harder.
Yeah, the truth.
I'm just being honest. And some of them are so brilliant, so eloquent in their appearance, profession, their abilities, and their knowledge and skill set, their Army acumen, that they should supersede or excel beyond some of us, myself included, some of us that have been in the military. Some of the men, a lot more of the men than they are now. There's one that we grew up with, and I was hoping she was going to be on here, Kim Bess McGee, full bird Colonel, National Guard, the first African-American female full bird Colonel, National Guard from West Virginia, from Charleston. And listen, when I tell you there's none better than her, she is not only brilliant, she's articulate, she's caring, she's humble, and she is a servant leader in a way that I have not seen in most men. She is the kind of leader that makes you want to do 20 years in the military and get frustrated because your time is up and you want to do 10 more. She's the kind of leader that you will go into battle for and fight for, die for, and come back to life and fight again for. She's solid.
And on top of all of that, there's another one, Tamika Walker here. Shout out to Tamika Walker, she's another female that I know in the military has been holding it down for a minute. And why do people, so when you think about the military, right? It seems like you've taken advantage of every opportunity that you could in the military. However, I know some other people that's gone to the military and they can't pay the bills. Yeah. They, are barely working regular jobs. So why does that happen? Why does if you can see if you have those people, you have some people who take advantage of it, and you have some people who go and do 4 years or however many, and then that's it. But then they struggle, and I'm like, you're a veteran, but I'm making more money than you, and my medical is, you know what I'm saying? So why does that happen?
Oh, easy answer for that. Mentorship. When you're in this military, remember I told you, I said to be a friend, find yourself friendly. Right. My mentors, I tell you right now, I have godparents right now. 2 of my godparents are Caucasian, Jimmy and Patsy. I asked them one day, I met Jimmy, and I asked him, I was like, man, I just got married, I have my kid, I'm trying to figure out life. You know what he told me? He said, let me help you figure it out. He said, do you know anything about investment? No. What do I do with that? He said, that's when you make your money, make money for you. He said, let me walk you through that process. He said, you know what? Have you ever thought about, furthering your education, but at the same time, while you're furthering your education, writing a book to teach somebody else how to do it? I said, no. He said, why are you not an author? He said, understand this. An author is not a profession. An author is a person who offers up his knowledge to grow other people, make them better.
Wow.
That's great. That's super dope.
Dope.
Hey, that's the second time we heard about them books. The last interview was the same thing. They were talking about books, being an author. That's dope.
And this is the thing. Most people don't understand. It doesn't matter how much money you have or what trials and tribulations you've gone through. It is a story. And this is the funny part. There are so many people on this planet that have gone through things, and their story would change so many other people's lives if they would just tell it. Remember in church, back home in church, they said, tell your testimony. Well, let me help you out. Your testimony is all it is a small synopsis of your book. And that message needs to be heard. I have friends out here that have amazing voices that can sing like angels, but don't use it. I won't mention a name, but sometimes they blush on a podcast.
I know you heard about me. You heard about. I was
oh my God.
In the quad.
How do you say? Drink a little drink of water on that one. But but even with that being said, that story, that journey, I've watched this person, and her journey inspired me. It inspired me to do other things. She did multiple things like, the poems, having people do spoken word. I'm in the military. I write poems like crazy. I sing, I dance. Most cats wouldn't even realize this. When I was at Hampton University, I taught tap, jazz, modern, and ballet with Nina Butts. You looking at me like, ballet, bro, what? I did. I could dance better than almost anybody you meet out there. I've actually danced for Jodeci, Tony Terry, Chucky Booker, MC Hammer, Mary J. Blige, Carl Thomas, and Jagged Edge. I danced for Jagged Edge, Mary J. Blige, and Carl Thomas in 2002, right before I graduated. That was the last concert I did. I got the footage and everything. But what I'm getting at is, you don't know what people's talents are. You feel me? Yeah, right. And he's like,
what you got?
Okay.
Yeah.
You say some things, but I promise you, I'm sitting here and I'm listening to every word.
I'm telling you, bro.
So I'm gonna just do the math. So
hey, watch
you said 93, 94. So we was in basic, though you get in college 94. And right after you graduate, you say 2001, 2002. So what kind of super senior were you?
Yes, I was at Hampton University. I got to Hampton University in 1997. Watch this.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right, because it sounded like you was at 93, and then I thought you said a year, so you got there 97. Gotcha. Cool.
So while at Hampton University, I was doing a dual degree. So I was studying physical therapy, but the program hadn't been completed yet because the director of the physical therapy program at Howard University was helping Hampton.
Correct.
So I had to switch over and finish up my business degree first. Yeah. So I was doing a dual degree. So while doing that, you got to make money in the summer. So one of my things making money in the summer was I was trying to get on some of these little concerts and, make a little bit of money dancing. I was like, hey, that's cool, because they pay little background dancers. I was like, hey, that's cool. I made the money there. I was also working at the shipyard at Newport News Shipbuilding.
Oh, you was with the thugs.
Right.
Oh, you with the thugs.
Yes.
Oh, listen. I ain't gonna tell you how I know all these things. I just know some things.
Yes.
Listen, man, you know, my network is pretty vast. I got people in high places and people in low places.
There you go. And you know Newport News is Newport News.
Newport.
It's not.
Yes, sir.
You know
bad
Newport
news, baby. Bad news. That's
exactly.
Yeah, I got
so imagine this, and this will mess your head up. When I'm working down on the shipyard, I was working on the aircraft carrier called the Ike. I had to walk through the nuclear cell cooling pool every day to get to work. Let me reiterate, I walked through a door. In there was a cooling pool, a large swimming pool with nuclear cells from that daggone ship in the water. I'm thinking I'm gonna have 3-4 hands and 8, 9, 10 heads.
Yeah, that's a little.
Exactly, but the radiation from that pool doesn't filter up. It filters down in that pool and out. So it's clear, it's clean. So walking through that every day, to imagine walking through a pool and seeing a pool glow and this big, huge nuclear cell in there, it was crazy to see. But that was my job at Hampton. I told you, Hampton did some things for me.
Was the people in Newport News safe? Because you know we do say the people is crazy. So you might be giving some reasons why they might be a little
exactly. And see, and that's the thing. You got to realize they got submarines there.
My cousin was shipped there for like he was stationed there.
Yeah,
okay. But now let me say this though, because I've been listening to your testimony about talking about the military, and I didn't want to cut you off when J to the name she spoke about women in the military, and there's a bad stigma on military when it's dealing with women, especially on sexual assault. Now, being it's Women's History Month, how do you feel that the military could better combat sexual assault on its combatants or their soldiers? Because that's, kind of like a report I kind of seen on HBO, and it was a special on it. And they were talking about how many of these sexual assaults have been swept under the rug and how many it had and how prevalent it was. And I was like, are you serious? But then thinking, I said, had one of my classmates, she went to a military academy, and she was explaining the summer, you know how you come back home from the summer and you meet up with all your high school people? Well, freshman year, it was like, how was yours? And it was like, bro, it's like 300 dudes in the bag, there's only 5 girls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? One looked like a dude, and I think she likes girls. So she's hitting on us. Then the other 4, it's like, 3, 2 Beckys and 2 black chicks. So they automatically went to the black chicks and thinking they were loose. Yeah. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, she was like, real. And it was like just constant bombardment. That's what her perspective was. And I don't want to paint the entire military with her perspective, but that was her story. So
but you got to look at it like this too. You have these military academies, and it's prevalent there, these military academies. But it's the way to combat that. We tell the Army has this program and this process. See something, say something, and we have what's called battle buddies. You're never alone. There's always somebody there with you. You always have somebody that has your back. Trusting your battle buddy, being there for your battle buddy is everything. I'm sorry, I have a Rottweiler and a little dog, and they heard somebody at my door. But your battle buddy is everything to you. When you are going through your storms, you're going through different things to that effect. That's the person you talk to. But you also have an open door policy to your commanders. You have open door policy to your chaplains. But to combat this piece right here, the truth of the matter is, it has to start with the team. Everybody in the Army is on a team. You're in a platoon or you're in a squad. If you know something is going on in that squad and that team, you're supposed to provide them not only support, but also protection. And if you see somebody on that team, honestly, it's the concept of being the weakest link. If somebody on your team is being the weakest link and allowing these things to happen to you, those things must be reported. And there's a means of reporting anonymously so that you're not caught or rather a snitch. Correct. But you are protecting your fellow soldier. And this is the deal. Just because she's a female doesn't make her any less a soldier. Just because you're male doesn't make you any less a soldier. So the whole concept of being a soldier is you are a soldier 24 hours a day, all day, every day. So it's now your obligation and your responsibility to report it. If you fail to report it, you are as guilty as the person that did it. And that's the key. So with all these acts that are going on, what we've been finding is the failure has not been that they're not being prosecuted. I hate to say it, some of the battle buddies are not being battles.
So listening to what you're saying, I'm just being honest, it sounds similar to me actually knowing some police officers in like the blue wall of silence. It sounds similar to the green wall of silence. It sounds like officers are supposed to report bad officers.
Correct.
You know, because that's their duty. However, you're asking a soldier to tell on another soldier, and you know right then and there, you know, you gotta, you know, you would try to say, it ain't any of my business, but we, as what you were saying, it is their business. It's their business to make sure they right that wrong. However, you acknowledge that there's a discrepancy on the promotional, the promotional aspects of promoting women. And then for me actually seeing a couple of specials on some of the assaults and abuse that's been happening to women. And it's not that they weren't reported, it was that from what I've seen, and I'm talking about from the outside, making sure that's clear, but stating that, you know, they made it aware, but they diminished what was going on, not diminished, but, you know, try to downplay the type of assault that was going on. And they were seeing that no. And I believe that the military had to have an entire sensitivity training on that, correct?
They did. And this is the thing. Not only was that sensitivity training done, but it was directed by high-level female officers, which was beautiful, of minority, which was beautiful. And the reason for it was sensitivity training. It was cultural awareness training. It was all of it inclusive. And that training, not only did it break down the necessity for soldiers being accountable for soldiers and officers doing their job and honestly being and standing up to be the officer that they swore to be, but at the same time, holding one another accountable for the inactions that are taken. So when you see someone that's not actually taking the action, it is now your responsibility to force their hand. That's why we have a JAG legal system. The JAG legal system works well, but we also have one thing called One Source, which provides anonymous counseling, support, and other resources to those that have actually been affected by, you know, the sexual harassment cases and things to that effect. But it's also kept private. It's not put in their records unless it is deemed so, because one of the first things a company commander, myself, would do if something happened in my company right now, not only am I going to safeguard that soldier, but I'm going to remove that soldier from said setting, allow them time to decompress, get themselves together, build out their process. But if they want to leave the post and go somewhere else, I'm moving. Let me reiterate, I ain't asking, I'm moving them. Why? Because I need them to be safe and in a safe, comfortable environment to where that they can get a resolve for everything that occurred. That does not mean the case stops. What it does is it removes them from the persons or person that has done said act. We then take that person into, you know, the concept, take that person into custody and due process is handled. But we do not want them to be stigmatized by still being around the same unit. If it's going to be a stigma for them, if they want to leave and go somewhere else, we're giving them an opportunity. But as they go to the next assignment, they're not going to the next assignment with a red flag on their chest saying, look, this person was just raped. And we're just sending them here to you because they were raped. And, you know, just, you know, handle with kid gloves. No, we're sending them to a new assignment anonymously to where it's just a regular PCS, giving them full comfort, that full level of respect and opportunity to continue to perform and do their duties and continue to serve if they desire to serve. And if they want to get out, we work that out as well. But the whole goal is to safeguard that the person that was actually accosted, harmed, harassed, or sexually assaulted. Because this is the thing, in that sensitivity training, the first thing they wanted us to do was to make sure that the person that was harmed knew that somebody cared.
Mhm.
And that's the whole goal. I need you to know, and I'll look you straight in your eye. Look, I got you. And that is my verbiage. I'm the same person I was back then as I am now. I got you. I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. So this is how we're gonna walk through this. Now, you tell me when you want me to back off. And when you got this and you can walk on your own. But until you can, I'm your other two set of legs. I'm the bat behind you and the stick in front of you. I got you covered. So this is what we're gonna do. And that is what we've been trying to do for our officers. We're trying to make sure that they become more of a servant leader than just a leader, because a leader will put the mission first and forget the soldiers second. A servant leader will always regard the soldier as the mission.
Okay. So now, because you hear things, and I heard a situation that happened with a female that she was brutalized and raped per se. But then I heard stories. Now that wasn't dealing with the Army. That was dealing with the Navy, where because they have what they call hot bunks, where the bed is always utilized because they have so many people on a submarine or ship that you have a ship, but you got to shift in that bed or that bunk per se. And women were voluntarily doing things for pay, because it was things going on. And so when I heard stories like that, I'm like, yo, you messing the game up because you got assaults in one unit, then over here, but then it was always the common joke that I've heard, because my grandfather, Navy man, father Army, and he always made the joke like, you got to watch out for the Navy guys, they, and that was their joke. I couldn't joke like that. Because I'm not enlisted. It's like me and you could talk about HBU. Somebody else jump, excuse me. Me and you could talk about Hampton and A&T, but that's why I was like, what are we talking about? But then you start hearing stuff and it's like, hey, yo, fam, I'm just being honest. How are you bunking with a woman? This is me. Bunking with a woman, and you're going to be in whatever for 3-4 months, and you look over and you see little Stephanie coming out the shower, and you like, hold up, man.
They're people.
Yes, I was on a dorm in college. I was in a college and came from the shower. You look down there, see something. But I know that's a no-no. That's a no-no.
But see, this is the scenario. This is the scenario with that one right there. Biggest part is, I would always say this: self-control. Self-control. Understand this. When you're in a business of, and this is the thing with the Navy, it's a timing thing, because you're on shifts, you're on such shifts. Sometimes you're coming in, the person's asleep, that person's about to get out, you're coming in to go to sleep. So you're walking shifts, the respect of the timing, the respect of the privacy, different things to that effect. But don't get it twisted. The military is just like the civilian world. Every job you have out in the civilian world, you have in the military. We got cooks, we got musicians, we got everything. So the same thing put it this way, the same happenings happen in the military that happen in the civilian world. But there are a second set of rules to kind of guide you away from that. It's called the UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. UCMJ is a second set of laws. That is the Army's laws. So mind you, if a person is willing to really break that law, understand you're going to get handled by UCMJ and then civilian law.
Correct.
So if you're gonna get my 2 sets of law, are you really gonna try it?
Nah, but now what I'm looking at moving forward is saying that, okay, you're a soldier first and foremost. Okay. So meaning that I'm willing to give my life for this country and this uniform.
Right.
So now for me, that's what my father said, like when I was considering. He's like, listen, you can hear about going to college for free. You can hear about supplements. You can hear about benefits when you retire. Are you willing to die for this country? And he said, that's where the rubber meets the road. You stand on this side, can't be on the fence. Are you ready to die for the country? Because if they say, yeah, come on, we fighting, you can't say, nah, I was just here for the sightseeing. Or nah, I don't really believe in shooting guns. Like, nah, it's time. So that's why I was like, you know what? It's real easy. Nah, fam. Because you say me, I'm like, I'm here for the college fund. You know,
but you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? A lot of people come in, same thing. They're coming in to pay debts.
Correct.
You get 40 and 50-year-olds still coming back in the military and reserves and National Guard. They're coming to pay debts, to fix some things, to get that bonus. And they don't think they're going to have to defend.
Yeah.
Right. But the truth of the matter is this: war is real. That's the first things first. War is real. And I'm telling you, as a war vet, war is real. When I commissioned as a field artillery officer. A commission, trained on multiple weapon systems that you wouldn't even imagine. I've commanded M3A3 Bradleys. Look, my 25 Mike can shoot so far down the road and knock a building down with so many little rounds. But then I got tow missiles that can knock a quadrant out. And machine gun. But remember, I told you when I came in, I was like, nah, man, I don't want to mess with guns. But understand, I am so proficient with them. It's not a gun anymore. It's a tool.
I got you.
It's a tool for safeguarding and protecting. But what happens is those very same people that came in for just college, after you go through the training and then you also learn the lifestyle, because this is one of the biggest things most people fail to see. I'm gonna show you something real quick. I'm gonna turn this around. I just want y'all to see this. This is my home. This is just my little office. It's my home, right?
Okay.
It's where my family lives. The Army for me is a lifestyle. It provides me opportunity to further my kids' education, feed them, take care of them, nourish them, protect my country. But it's a job. But it's a lifestyle. Just like if you were a banker, there's a lifestyle to being the CEO of the bank and just a teller. The pay, different levels, provide you a certain lifestyle. Same thing in the military. Enlisted and officer provide you different lifestyles. The lifestyle of being in the military is this one to where that you live by creeds and codes. You live by duty, loyalty, selfless service, fidelity. The concept of truly being an honorable person or trying your best to become that. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna make mistakes. And you also learn to live by this: mess up, make up. I love that. Mess up, make up.
You mess up, you make it up.
There you go. I learn from every mistake I make, I learn from it, and then watch how I learn from it. If I fail 1,000,000 times and I succeed once, I got 1,000,000 pieces of knowledge and success. I ain't looking at the failure. I got 1,000,000 pieces of knowledge and success. That's the Army. It's that lifestyle. We all fail in the Army. I'm gonna be honest with you. You assume that because we're soldiers, we're doing things and we're great. You know, that's the misnomer. Honestly, you got guys that can't run 2 miles. You got guys that can't do push-ups and sit-ups. You got guys.
Fam, how we got guys can't run miles and they gotta chase whatever names and people.
Right.
Nah.
And you know the funny part? After they run them 2 miles, they sit over in the corner like this. Oh, Jesus. Tired, exhausted, and beat out, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? The next morning they get up and do it again until they can get it.
Got you. I got you.
Of, until I get it, I'm gonna keep pushing forward. Watch this. Until I can't no more, I'm gonna serve this country. That's the goal.
I got you, but let me discuss this one thing. I'm gonna let JT get to you, but I'm here. You giving me little droplets. I'm gonna let you go a little bit, but let me throw another little curve in it. You got a lot of men who are willing to, give their life up and actually buy into the lifestyle. Now you have so many men coming out of the military with PTSD. And remember how you were just talking about men, you had a cook, you got soldiers, got different levels. So now the level of their PTSD, because my thought process, this is just me as a civilian. Okay, you just said you were in war, you were in combat. Okay, cool. I understand how you can get PTSD. You've seen some things. Yeah. There's people that haven't been in war and combat saying, I got PTSD. And I'm like, I got a question. How you get that, and what you see that's giving you some type? Because I grew up in the hood, so they kind of told me I had PTSD, and I was just like, I'm just a little off. I don't call it PTSD. I'm just like, sometimes you gotta talk to me different.
Yeah, a little off. I feel you.
Okay,
but check this out. To answer that question and answer accurately, life can cause you PTSD.
Facts.
Period. I'll mess your head up and I'm gonna give you some personal, I'm gonna divulge some personal. My son has had craniofacial surgery, a third of his skull removed, replaced with titanium because he had tumors growth in his skull. I had to watch my child's face get pulled off, back of the skull get pulled off, and they cut it out and then restructure his skull. Mind you, that's one child. I've had to watch my wife go through 16 surgeries because a doctor malpracticed. A doctor made a mistake, did something wrong, almost killed her. My daughter, 7 days later, paralyzed from waist down, 2 partial heart replacements. Understand this, 30 surgeries between son, daughter, and wife, PTSD. Why? Trauma to the brain. The concept of trauma to the brain is trauma to the emotions, trauma to the way of life, your beliefs, the stress on your bodies, your finances. Watch this, still being an officer, having to serve a country, knowing your family is on a deathbed. Understand this, then having to deploy while your wife is on her deathbed. Understand me? And have to come back and your son goes into his process. And then you still have to serve and watch this, have to smile, have to lead, and have to listen to thousands of soldiers' scenarios where they're going through financial issues, marital issues. Right. Watch this, Jody letters, where they're on deployment and their wife or husband is messing around. The kids are doing drugs. Watch this. One kid then blew his head off. How does this soldier handle that when he comes back? And they're looking at you to fix that or give them resolve or some peace and some solace on how to get through it. And you have to sit there just like this, knowing that your child is in the hospital right now and his face has just been sewn back on a few hours ago. And you're trying to give a man some peace of mind why he can go on when his wife was just sleeping with his neighbor. Understand? Mm-hmm. PTSD is a thing. It is not a military thing. It is a thing. It's called life. You feel me?
I got you.
But this is the biggest part of it all. Through that PTSD, I learned something. It's called trials and tribulations. God gives you a thing. He just wants to see how you react to the challenge. It's not how you feel, it's how you react to the challenge. If you react the right way, you can heal a nation. If you react the wrong way, you can break a team. The whole concept is this. Right. Don't lose your mind because something bad is happening to you. Right. Make a plan. We do what's called the MDMP, military decision-making process. You write steps. Step 1, course of action 1, course of action 2, course of action 3. How do I get through it? If course of action 1 doesn't work, go to course of action 2. In other words, just make an A, B, and C plan. How am I going to get through this? How am I going to pay the bills? Right. How am I going to manage my little bit of time to get to the appointments and get to work? How am I going to rely on my battle buddy to help me get through it? And then it's the deal. Stop thinking you're alone. Everybody going through something, and everybody that's going through something assumes that they're the only one or they're going through it alone. That is the first sign that PTSD has gotten you, because you've allowed depression to sneak in. You've I hate to say it, you've made yourself, you put yourself on an island thinking nobody can reach you. And nobody's going through. There you go. And this is the thing, that medication, let me help you out. Stop the medication. I'm gonna be honest with you, meditation helps a lot more. Sit still for a few minutes in a room and sit quiet. Watch how many answers come to you as you sit there and you allow all that to wash over your head. And you sit there and you evaluate it all and you sit back and chill for a minute without being angry, frustrated, and ticked off. And then you see how many answers. Well, I ain't got to pay this bill today. I can pay it in 3 days, but I can pay this one and take a piece from this. And if I just call them, they can make this happen for me. Watch this. Through this surgery, if I can talk to the doctor can give me a timeline of recovery. I can work out a map with my boss to get some leave, and people donate leave to me so that I can be off, so I can be there for my kid. If you sit there and take the time to start thinking the process through instead of emotionally acting and just running, I'm telling you, it's called becoming mature in grown man and grown woman business. When you walk into grown man, grown woman business and you start thinking the process through, you are more successful and able to manage the PTSD, which is that stress of life, which is the trauma of life, which is the unanswered question, which is those moments of, and I'm gonna be honest with you, when you feel vulnerable and nobody understands. I'm telling you, you can walk through this easy because then you become, watch this, the author of your story to get the next person through PTSD. In other words,
Gotcha. Definitely. And tremendous. Now the scary part for me, okay, because watch this, watch. Because I asked a colleague, he's in the reserves, and I'm looking at him like, hey, yo, fam, let's just say we talking about this individual may come and we have a protest because of Eric Garner, what I mean, or George Floyd, or Sandra Bland, whomever, right? Yeah. And in this protest, they said, we got to deploy National Guard. And you start seeing that some of your counterparts are a little too eager and aggressive towards this demographics, where some people went on the Capitol and y'all was all kumbaya and they came in there and did a whole nother type of joint going on. Yeah. Yo, how are you going to perform in that sense where it's like, you kind of see the policies that's really geared, like rigged. Now, I don't want to say geared, it's rigged a certain way. Because when you start seeing that, all right, cool, you'll send out National Guards and have everything because the Black Lives Matter was going to DC and we got, bayonets, people on horses walking around, and it's been always peaceful. And then now we got the commander, your former leader, that just said, stand tight, stand by to this militia that really would actually attack your demographic, the person that looks like yourself. And I look at it like, how would I stand as a soldier? And I look at it from the same perspective as told my man, that's a state trooper. I said, yo, fam, cats around the way, they start getting rims on their cars because, cops are just stopping them and just because you might like the look to say, no, you got the drug dealer starter kit. So we just gonna stop that car. Whereas I said, if I was a trooper, I said, you got a Confederate flag, it's a wrap. Yo, pull over, get out, man. You know what? Body cavity search. What I mean? You got that Confederate flag on your joint. Yeah, you meant the right one. But what I'm saying to you is that if you have to be deployed and now you may be sympathetic to the protesters, it's like, I heard what you said. You ain't black or white. You said you green. Right. And that, to me, I'm like, hey, yo, fam. I get it. I remember, the movie Spook Who Sat by the Door. Yeah. Yeah. Like, there's some training, some techniques that you are very skilled at that maybe you might teach some people. Yeah. On that type of time. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that here. I can imply like a mom, because I see what you pulled out earlier that we wasn't recording. There's some things that went around corners. I said, hold up, your joint could do what? Like, yeah, I could make a figure eight and everything, and then this thing gonna come over. Yes, sir. Like, oh, family, all right. I don't want that, because my government is Omar. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, hold up, hold on now, hold on. Like my nickname might be Insurgent, but let me go. Go ahead.
But with that piece right there, before the soldiers are assigned a task like that, there's a briefing, and that's one thing the Army does. We brief well. We brief well. We let them know, look, this is the mission, this is the intent, this is the purpose. Do not deviate from the mission, intent, or purpose. Follow the guidance that's given. And that's what we teach them. We teach you to be able to maintain your military bearing. Even though you see something that it may just be freaking egregious to you, there's a bearing that you must maintain because there are, even with the National Guard, there are authorities out there, though the National Guard may have been there, there are authorities that supersede their responsibility and their abilities. So they must engage it. It's not for you to engage it. All you are is the wall. They are the enforcers. We're just the wall. And being the wall, there's certain things you can't do. And I'm sorry, there are things you would want to do, thinking in your mind, man, I could do this, and I could do that. But the truth of the matter is this: you have laws that you must follow. You have rules that you must follow, rules of engagement that you cannot break. If you break those rules of engagement, then you are as bad as the daggone rioter. you're as bad as the protester that's doing something wrong, that's trying to cause the conflict. And this is the thing, you're breaking the law. And as I said, we have two sets of laws, UCMJ, and then we have civilian. So in doing so, our job is not to inspire chaos, but it's to remove, to remove the tool. And to remove the tool, we build the fence. And that is who we are.
Okay. And the reason, one of the concepts, in that thought was when my father was in Vietnam, the war he served in. In Fayetteville, North Carolina in 1968, Martin Luther King was assassinated April 4th. And he was in Fayetteville at Fort Bragg.
Yeah, I was in Fort Bragg.
You were, yeah. So
right there.
So what happened was, so you know how large Fort Bragg is and everything, right?
Yeah, man. That's why my knees hurt jumping out of them planes, bro.
Yeah. So now, now watch this, because that's where they was shipping people off. You know what I mean? Because his story is crazy in itself. But the part where I want to speak to you about was that when Martin Luther King was assassinated, everybody on the campus didn't know. So they heard the officers in their barrack, per se, office, they was cheering, like, yeah, they finally got him on. They was like, what's going on? Like all the regular soldiers was like, yo, what's going on? And then they said, yeah, one guy came out, one of the soldiers said, yeah, they finally got him. They got him. And they like, who did they get? Like, so my father was like, man, they got Castro. Like that, that's how they was cheering. Like, oh man, they got Castro. Like somebody like that. I was like, nah, they killed King. And it was like, and how diverse.
And not to win out of the soldiers,
Yeah. So now all the soldiers saw the officers cheering, and then some of the people cheering, and then what they had to do is they had to lock down the whole facility.
Exactly.
Because when they was like saluting and breaking, all them breaking, they was like, whatever. Like walked off. And I know, as a soldier, when they do that, you like, hold up. Half of our entire battalion was like, it was like, whatever, and just walked clean off. They was like, yo, we got a problem. And what was really crazy was during that time where different cities was like catching riots and things. Over there, Fayetteville, they was like, yo, they had to close off Fort Bragg, basically Fayetteville.
Exactly.
And say, yo, we got to contain our soldiers because, we got to deal with this. Yeah. And we can't help you, Winston. We can't help you, Greensboro. We can't help you, Charlotte.
That's why they call Fort Bragg Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam. They was like, yo, because
Vietnam.
Yeah, absolutely. Called Vietnam. Girls were like, where you from? Vietnam. I was like, what? I never heard of that.
Yeah. But the scenario for these cats was this. It's imagine this. Being an African American soldier in the Jim Crow concept. And your leaders cheering something like that is so egregious, not only to you but to your core, because that's one of the main leaders of your culture, and you turn around to see that, and they're supposed to be the ones that inspire hope, safety, focus, and they're doing that. At that time, I can see where your father was feeling some kind of way and had every right to be. Because this is the thing, as an officer, I am biased. I'm non-biased. I have to be non-biased because my soldiers, every one of my soldiers come from a different background. And if the only culture I celebrate is my own, and I do not respect and encourage them to be who they are within their own culture, then I've done them a disservice and I'm not serving them correctly as an officer. However, those soldiers that did that, those officers that did that back then, I don't know, I can't speak to what their viewpoint was and their mindset, why they performed in such a negative and egregious way. But as a young Black officer, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been in a command where I'm the only Black officer there, or one of three, and it's about 20, 30 of us. There are conversations that are had that we're not privy to at times. Knowledge that we don't get at times, but are expected to perform. Understand, it's not always fair. But this is the deal. In doing so, that does not mean that I drop my level of professionalism and act out of frustration and rage just to counter the foolishness that came at me, that's when I get smarter. I become more effective, more focused. And that's when being a master, how to say, I'm a student of all, master of none. Well, in the military, I become that. I'm a student of all. That way, no matter what comes at me, I'm able to handle all of these different trials and tribulations, skill sets, and crafts. And watch this. We're supposed to be on a mission that I wasn't even informed of, but I have skill sets to support that mission, though they didn't give me the information. By me gaining those skill sets, I'm still effective. One of the skill sets, being able to be compassionate enough to listen to my soldiers when the George Ferguson scenario went on, right?
You mean George Floyd?
I mean, George Floyd, forgive me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, George Floyd and the Ferguson scenario, the two different scenarios. And then Breonna and all the scenarios that went on. This is the thing, the soldiers were asking questions. What's going on? How should we act? What should we do? This is the deal. It wasn't just our soldiers, our people that I took care of. I had to take care of some of the Caucasians, the Indians, the Asians, because everybody's feeling like a target. Because they don't know what the backlash is going to be from different cultures. So we had to sit them down and had to talk to them about, you know what? Diversity, inclusion. Understand this. You are part of a team. What I expect from you is nothing less than your service, you to be respectful to your fellow soldier, you to be also supportive of your fellow soldier, be sympathetic to the scenario, do not be judgmental, and be willing to have an open ear. And this is the funny thing. I have friends from West Virginia. One of my best friends is Jason Ward, Caucasian guy. He'll tell you his parents did not really deal with us much in Sissonsville. However, the scenario is this. He is my brother all day. He'll tell you that. I'll die for that cat. He'll die for me. And this is the thing. When you learn that friendship supersedes color, culture, and creed, friendship becomes family. What I try to teach my soldiers is to become family. I told them this. I would not come into my office and put pictures of my wife, my kids, and my family up on a wall unless this is a family and this is a team. Because until it's that, you don't need to know who live in my home. You don't need to know who's around me. You feel me? Gotcha. But when we get to that level, they're there. Yeah. Because I want you to know who, watch this, I want you to know who you're protecting.
Correct. Who you fighting for?
I want you to know who you're fighting for. Because I know your family, but I need you to know my family. So this is the deal. We go to war together. You better make sure that you're fighting for my life as much as I'm fighting for yours. Because I'm trying to get you home to your people, and I'm trying to get home to mine. And in combat, I have been in combat. I have not lost a soldier in combat. I kept my promise to all my soldiers. Everybody came home. Right. And this is the thing. When I got back, hugs and kisses from white parents, Asian parents, Indian parents. You know why? Because they were like, you kept your word.
Yes. Right. You said something really profound just now when you were talking about you didn't know the mission, but you knew you already had the skill.
Exactly.
You focused on that. And that, I mean, even just regular everyday life, if you think about your job, you know, you might not get that promotion you want at the time, or you might not be making the money that you want to make at the moment. However, if you could just continue to better yourself, you know what I mean? Do the best you can with what you got, whatever your job title is, it's going to come a point in time when you get the opportunity, then you'll be prepared. So instead of you being mad at work or something like that because they didn't promote you, like, I don't hate them. And you know, even if you feel that way, just keep doing what you do. Eventually your turn will come around for you to do whatever it needs to do. And you won't even have to say much, but that's what I got out of of that. So,
and also ask a question. Ask a question of somebody else's skill set. Right. You know what's crazy? Let's be for real. You sitting out here and your car break down, right? And what's the first thing you're gonna do? I'm gonna go to a mechanic, and you know they're gonna kind of upsell you, right? Oh. But you got a cousin that puts engines together. But you can go to a mechanic. Why don't you go over there and ask him, you know, even when your car ain't broke down, on some free time on the weekend, hey, show me how to change my carburetor out. Show me how to change my spark plugs. These small little skill sets, if you actually ask a question to somebody that already has it, and they can teach you little things, guess what happens? That's in your toolkit. You feel me? Your toolkit is full of things you don't even realize that you have in it because you've learned things from other people. But if you learn those things, you can assess what's going on with your car before you get to the mechanic. So he can't lie to you. He can't tell you. Watch this. He can't tell you your swimming pool filter just went bad in your car. Did you hear what I said? Swimming pool filter.
Yeah, swimming pool filter. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How you boys say you figured it? Because I'm gonna tell you right now.
Figured it out.
He'll give you all the craziness, right? But if you know what it is, you can be like, you can call BS on that. What I'm getting at is learn some things. Like you're doing this podcast right now.
Sure.
That is the most amazing thing in the world. Right? Y'all got big O, y'all doing this podcast. This thing is amazing. You're working with computers. Watch this. You're working with video equipment. You're actually doing this thing. And then you pushing it out live. Guess what you just did? The same thing that people do at CBS.
Sure.
Have you ever thought about that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go.
As soon as I learn how to edit, I'm making a movie.
Exactly. Hey, watch this. My question to you is this. Why does it take $1 million to make a movie? Because I just finished making a 15-second snippet for social media.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you what it costs because that's confidential, but
you can tell me. You can tell me. You can tell me because I can sell you something. I'll sell you something, brother. I'll sell you something.
And all it was a little camera, a little footage, and a couple people moving around. And that's the whole snippet. And it's the thing. It's worth millions and it costs nothing. You can do the same thing. You don't need producers. You don't need directors because you can be that as long as you learn the skill set. You understand the small, finite tools and the pieces, the intricate pieces that make it work. You don't have to be super in depth in it. Just know how to make it work, how to direct it, how you want it to see. And then watch this, understand your audience.
Sure.
Understand, this is the biggest part. You can make any kind of movie you want, but if you don't understand your audience, your movie is a flop.
Facts.
And then not only understanding the audience, watch this. The biggest thing most people want to see, they want to see action and they want to see somebody to make them smile, make them giggle. Hey, check that out.
So that's game, baby. That's game. Listen.
I like drama.
See,
make me cry. I'm gonna think about it.
You know drama because you got cousins. Right? Use they story.
I got family and friends.
Hey.
Nah, y'all from West Virginia. That's just drama and
whatever.
Yeah. I keep telling people, I said, Medea, look, Tyler Perry, all he did was capitalize on everybody else's issue.
Right.
And he put it on TV to make you laugh at it, but also make you learn from it. He did a reverse Bill Cosby with the Cosby Show, but he made it in comedy. Because think about it, he's teaching you lessons. He's teaching you.
What you mean reverse Bill Cosby? I learned a whole bunch of lessons at Bill Cosby.
No. Understand this. He did a reverse. Bill Cosby, it was comic, but it was a family-based comedy that was not, it wasn't the kind of drama that Medea has. Put it this way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so he did it in reverse. Right. He gave you the real life, the real drama. When look, cousin over there smoking weed and and over there getting a little drink, and he done robbed your little purse. Yeah. You didn't see that in the Cosby Show.
No, you didn't see that in the Cosby Show.
Right.
So it was a different demographic. You were shooting for a different demographic.
So what he did,
knowing your audience. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. He knew his audience, and he knew. Watch this. The funny part is he knew we needed to see ourselves to heal ourselves.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Let's be for real. He wasn't doing it to belittle us, because some people have done it to belittle you.
Right.
But he was doing it. He said, how can I help you heal yourself if you can't see yourself?
But everybody don't see it that way though. Some people look at, some of Tyler Perry stuff and they be like, it's typical, it's stereotypical of Black people, angry, eating, all of that.
Yeah.
Right. But let me say this though, even though they say that, if you guys just watch Coming to America and you've seen that, and if you read the credits at the end of all of that, it says Tyler Perry Studios is the one who helped create that movie. It says they employed over 6,000 people to make that movie. So you might, that's a lot.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can't be throwing those soft pitch softballs up like that. You got Hank Aaron back here. Yes. Okay, number one. All right. The Coming to America sequel is horrible. Let's just be
That's your
honest.
opinion.
It is
I've heard a
straight
bunch of things.
trash. Now, I love Eddie. I want to make sure I am clear. Look, I love Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is one of the best comics who ever walked this planet. He has put on so many other people. I've seen George Carlin in his movies, Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence.
Right.
I've seen Arsenio Hall. He's put on so many different people and people of color. Let's just put this out there. So I'm not speaking of the man, Eddie Murphy, or any of the player. And I love that the black cast. I loved it. Now, my issue became, where the first one was so good. I'm like, hey, fam, if you're going to touch that, it got to be to that caliber. And we know, I'm just being honest, with all that talent and everything, the other one didn't even have that much talent compared to this. And it doesn't hold a candle to it.
Right. But this is the thing. Watch this. The reason it doesn't. Who was the audience they were trying to play to? You got to go back to the message. Was the message worth the audience?
Stepped on a landmine.
You feel me? I'm going to be
honest. You stepped on a landmine.
And watch this landmine. Watch this landmine. It's supposed to be for us, right?
No. Are you saying that we need a lower caliber of film to?
No. Understand this. It was supposed to be for us. It was supposed to be better, richer, more full us, right? More robust, right? Watch this. The grown man us now.
Okay.
The question is this: did he build that movie for the target audience, which was the grown man us, or the foolish, childish them?
I can, but I have to go to what you, because this implied saying that, well, we don't have to have a certain quality for us.
No. That's not what I said.
I know you say it, but that's implied. And what you're saying because of the audiences going.
Right. So check this out. I'll give you the audience.
Okay.
To sell the movies, most of the people that are going to the movies now, and as diverse as America is now, it's them. And he's trying to make them giggle and laugh and trying to make them see us in a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're gonna come with that movie, I needed T'Challa. I needed that concept. I needed the king in us. I needed the truth in us. I needed that strength in us. Even though you bring a little comedy with it, I needed that caliber of who we truly are. Because you just got, the reason I said this, you just got the Wakanda. And watch this, and everybody on the planet respected it.
Yeah, but
there was no reason for this movie to be less respected in its craft, in its art, and its skills, and portrayed in that way. Because if they didn't come with their A game to perform, I'm gonna be honest with you, you did us a disservice.
So now let me say that point from which you gave an example for. The Black Panther, why it was so widely accepted and we all loved it, because when you look at the Marvel student, there was no drop off. So the Avengers 1, the Avengers 2, Iron Man, you saw them at a certain caliber. And Black Panther met the standard. It didn't say, well, we're going to do a little Black Panther. It's going to look like Black Lightning on UPN. No, we're going to be right there. So when you look right across, it's going to be like bloop, bloop, bloop. So you can put it on and it's at the same standard. And what I'm saying is that Coming to America was at a standard and this one was down here. And we're trying to say, well, we're hitting a different demographic. You get the demographics, but reach the standard that the first one was in.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. So with Wakanda, this Coming to America 2 should have exceeded that movie, that Marvel that movie that came out with Black Panther. It should have exceeded it. It should have exceeded the first Coming to America, exceeded this one, and it should have been the third step in getting to the clouds.
Are you so you do agree this wasn't the standard, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, it was not only not the standard, it was subpar in so many different ways. I hate to say it, it didn't speak to the true, those actors' true abilities. Period. It actually diminished their abilities, and it made them look old and useless in a sense. And I'm like, that's not who they are. These are amazing actors. And this is the thing, if you look at it, will they get another movie starring in a role from that movie? No. Check this out.
Okay.
some of them may not get the roles that they want after playing in this movie. The reason for it, because some of the roles that they played were not that great. They didn't perform well, or it wasn't written well. So my thing is this, are you going to invest in something to where that I'm only going to get, I'm going to get 60% of you when I know you got 100% of it? Or are you going to, your acting ability is diminished to about 60% where it used to be at 100%. That's how they're looking at them now.
I do understand that, but what I looked at it was, I don't think they had the right funding for it. That was my only thing, because for instance, you know, you get a certain quality when you have the proper funding. So for instance, we look at Black Panther. They said, look, we have Iron Man, we have the Avengers. Okay, look, we have Black Panther. Think of the budget. So you better come up to this standard because we're giving you the check. Now, if they didn't have the check, then I could say, yo, listen, don't do it if you don't have the money, because I'm just being honest. Look, don't diminish that brand, because for instance, of all Eddie Murphy movies, I'm just being honest, that was the worst. Yes. My favorite was Life. And I wasn't
Life
was phenomenal.
Life was
like it hit on different level. Life was one of my favorites. That one was hard.
There were parts of it that were good. I think
that was worse than Metro. If you ever seen Metro, that was worse than Metro.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I'm an Eddie Murphy dude. I'm like, look,
I like the movie. Exactly. I think there were certain parts of it that made it, like, I didn't understand, like, why did you even put that in there? Like, what was the point of that? Like, when they brought in the salt and pepper, what does that have to do with anything?
Oh,
like,
no, that was good because it was saying his culture of how he grew up.
I get that. I get it. But to me, it was a little cheesy. Like, that's the part I'm like,
it did seem a little cheesy. But I did like Peaches. I like Peaches and them B-Box. I did like that.
Yeah. I did like that.
I like Peaches and them.
There's also the controversy with it. They were saying that they were mad about the movie because they promoted this date rape scene. And there's all of these talk and all this stuff. And when I've read all this stuff about it.
You're right.
Yeah. I didn't either, but they said that they did because he didn't remember and she must have drugged him. And now there's this kid who didn't have this, and you set it up in all this negative light. And so I'm like, well, before did they have this? Like, no. So the date rape thing, so there's people are mad about that. There's people mad about, like you're saying about the Wakanda level of it. I think they even mentioned Wakanda even in it. You know what I'm saying? I think they said something about it, but they were talking about them both being two imaginary worlds from Africa. But this one still seems subpar as far as coming to America because the woman couldn't have a job. The woman is not supposed to do this. And then in Black Panther, she was technology. She was, we're talking about T'Challa and all this other stuff. And they did contrast it with, Black Panther. I didn't think it was horrible. I just thought that.
But I'll put this out there. The movie Friday had a very small budget. Small budget. Chris Rock only made $10,000. I mean, not Chris Rock.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube. Boy, they only made 10 grand. Yeah, but this is the thing: their abilities and the way they performed in that movie is historical.
Wait a minute. The reason why is because all of those people, except for I want to say Bernie Mac, were unknown actors.
Exactly.
Right.
So there's a difference.
They were hungry.
Yeah, we're different because if I just want exposure as an actor, I'll do it for free. Remember Taraji in Hustle and Flow when she spoke about what she did because she wanted to look and and where it got her afterwards. However, I was looking at it from a standpoint of, listen, you have a legacy. Now, like some actors at a certain age, it's like you got a legacy. Let's not tarnish your legacy. So for me, and watch this, for me, I start looking at certain actors as they getting older. I'm like, certain things you can't take. Like if you looked at some of Denzel's earlier stuff, you kind of like, wow, you didn't know he was in St. Elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? Or certain roles, you'd be like, oh, wow, that's Denzel. Or you didn't know George Clooney was in Facts of Life.
Right. Like, Samuel Jackson was in half of the movies he was in. Right.
Yeah. No. Samuel Jackson's so old. Like, I'll give you credit. Like, Morgan Freeman was in Electric Company.
Yeah,
right. I'm going way back. But what I'm saying is, at this level where you have a legacy, it's like, all right, fam, somebody got to say, you can't take, you can't be Gator no more, or you can't go in School Days. You can't go fight people in the parking lot. Now you in Formula 51 creating synthetic drugs. Or like Samuel Jackson, you're teaching other Jedi.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying? So when he was in Star Wars,
you're on the same level as Yoda. You that guy.
Yeah, you're on the same level as Yoda. Like you and Yoda's are peers. So now it's like a progression. But for me, looking at some of them, I'm like, this is backwards. And I understand what you're saying. Like they're not getting roles, and I don't think that's fair per se, because I heard someone make mention about Amari Hardwick when he was Ghost, and some of the roles that he's been taking since he left Power. And I'm like, yeah, I see that, and there's a trouble, but nobody's talking about it, because I put Amari Hardwick in the same light with another person who had an iconic role, and then that series left, and that's Kerry Washington.
Yes.
So Kerry Washington and Scandal was such a, but then when she was in, Little Fire, I think it's what's it called, Little Fires or Fires Everywhere, that was phenomenal. So it was like, okay, she's playing a different character, but it's still her and Reese Witherspoon did phenomenal.
Right.
But now when I see Amari Hardwick, and it looked like, yo, fam, is that like a UPN straight to box movie?
Exactly.
Because
you have to even look at it like this. Remember, Wesley Snipes was who? He was Blade.
Oh, no. Oh, you want to go further back? Want me to take you further back where he was?
Yeah.
He was in Wildcats. He was the running back with the lady from the Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was Jamie Foxx's grandmother. I mean, stepmother. The aunt, his aunt Helen was his girlfriend in the movie Wildcat.
Yes. But but watch this. But you got to look at his repertoire. Remember Nino. Nino.
Yeah.
Let's be for real.
Can't go wrong with that. Nino.
Come on, man.
Look, listen. This is one of the greatest, right? This is one of the greatest things. When I can tell you the movie New Jack City and Trespass. Now, if somebody asks me, because I'm looking at them, right? And I said, I love when they give the commentary, like Entertainment Tonight or whatever show. I love when their perspective of the actor talks about it. So for instance, Ice-T went out for the role of Nino, but the director said, no, we need Ice-T was the cop, but in New Jack City. But they said, no, we're going to give the trained actor the role of the bad guy, because we believe that he can bring the bad guy to life. And I was like, wow, that's deep. And then Trespass came out at the same time, a little late, like maybe a year or two later. Trespass, and remember, Ice Cube was like the little hothead brother.
Yeah.
Ice-T was the drug dealer, big brother, kingpin, and then he was chasing, I forget the young man name, the guy around.
I don't remember that.
But now watch this. It was horrible. That's why you don't remember it. Yeah. Because Ice-T was the bad guy. And that's what 50 Cent said about Amari. He's like, no, we need the trained actor to be the bad guy.
Exactly.
Because what happens is he brings the character to life in such a way. And I was like, yo, that's so deep. But now, and then, Major Don, I got to ask you this question now. Because some people say some things, man, and you're an East Coast dude because you're West Virginia. But I got to ask this, man, because I want to know. It's been on my heart.
Yeah.
East Coast or West Coast, who had the best gangster movies during the 90s? Wow. I'm trying to see where your head at. Look what I do. Look what I do to him. I'm putting him under fire.
You stay under fire. He got to show me his firearms before we get off of here.
Well, let's watch this. Because, I mean, you can go back to movies like Deep Cover. Remember that? With Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Deep Cover. I love Deep Cover.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
I like
Jeff Goldblum.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I got to give it to the East Coast because of that mafia-esque concept. The reason for it. They embodied it. They embodied it in such a way. The way the movies were made, it was the business of, watch this, it was the business of crime. It wasn't just the movie. It was how they managed and they made it enticing. They made you want to become, if you wanted to become a criminal, you wanted to become a businessman in criminal.
I got you, but now watch it. My question is, right?
You know what I'm saying?
You had, like, so for instance, when someone made mention of it and said, well, you got Boys in the Hood. Somebody said West Coast, and I was like,
Boys in the Hood was, I'm gonna be honest with you,
that was good.
It was amazing. But what you got to realize what it was though. It was the high school life of youth. I'm talking about the grown man business.
Oh, no. I just said the 90s because, we from that era. So you got Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, Deep Cover. That's the West Coast.
Yeah, Menace to Society was a monster.
No. That was horrible when you watch it now. If you ever
now
watch,
you see it. But
you see the bad acting, you be like this, oh God.
Yeah. And then you also got to look at Set It Off with Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
That was a teardrop. Let's be for real.
Yeah, that was. But you had trained actors in it.
Exactly.
And the other ones, some of them wasn't trained. Because I'm gonna just tell you right now, only one that was trained in Menace to Society was Jada and Lorenz Tate. Yeah, Lorenz Tate. That was the only ones that was trained. The rest of them was, hey yo, come here.
Everybody was a rapper.
Hey yo, come here. But okay, so during that time period, the East Coast had Juice. New Jersey Drive.
Hey, hold up.
Paid in Full. Oh,
Juice. Stop.
Yeah.
Juice. Say it.
Juice.
This be for real.
Yeah,
Juice was an education.
Yeah.
That was an education. Because it came right off of remember, they called me Joe Clark.
Yeah.
They called me Batman.
Absolutely.
Ooh, come on, man. Hey, look. It was education.
Yeah. Lean on me.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Oh, and then you turn around. Oh, there were so many. But this is the thing. Oh, I keep saying it's the growth in it, because East Coast, it was more so they played criminals, but they played criminals that were progressive. Understand the concept?
Okay.
Very progressive, very focused. And these guys turned into something. They turned into Diddy. They turned into 50. You feel me? They turned into people.
Yeah. I got you on there.
Yeah. And it's just what it is. And I mean, you watch them today, you would think they live in a movie.
Okay.
Because they embody the concept.
Jake to the name. She trying to get her speed up because I know her husband kind of looking like, hey, But at this, but you want to show the guns.
This is great. No, not just that. I mean, he has guns in military, but even in all of that, what this leads to, what you guys were talking about, movies, things like that. Before that, we were talking about PTSD. So we can still band that into the question about what do you do then when you have all of that? I know you said you gotta, it's discipline and all that, but what do you do outside of that? I know you have. I want to see your guns. I know you got a couple of them. I definitely want to see them. But what do you do for your, PTSD? What do you do to keep yourself?
I'll give you a quick answer that most of us in our culture won't want to hear.
Therapy.
You know why? Because we all deny it. Include myself. I don't like it because I don't want you to think I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. Watch this. But we all have, watch this, we've all gone through trauma.
Yeah, we've been through some things.
You've gone through trauma. Look, let's be for real. When your mother sent you outside to pick your switch, your own switch, that's psychological damage. Think about it.
I think you need it though. I think we need it though. I really do.
Exactly.
Let you know there's consequences for doing dumb shit.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
But you know what I'm saying? But this is the deal. But when you get, this is the thing, what we don't understand and what I hate to say we fail to comprehend is that sometimes too much trauma is too much trauma.
True.
And the only way to let it go is to, get it off you, talk it out. Because we won't talk. I'm gonna tell you like this in the military. I'm an officer. I don't complain down. And I definitely don't complain up. So that means it stays with me.
Got you. Oh,
isn't that crazy?
Wow, man.
Like that. Bars. Right there. Bars.
And I'm just saying.
I don't complain. Complain down. I'm gonna stay with that. That's how I feel as a father.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? As a black man, as a dad, watch this. You ain't gonna tell your kids about your problem. And look, you the man in the house. I can't tell my wife because she's that next level. I can't tell her. I got to man up and handle it.
Yeah, listen. Listen, I got 3 daughters. I ain't never been in charge of nothing. 3 daughters. They in charge. I got daughters and wife. They in charge. But at the same time, I think what I've been working on is my stomach because I just been eating my way out of my problems. You know what I'm saying? I ate myself out of a wardrobe. So I'm trying to diet myself back into a new one, goddamn it.
But you know what's crazy about that too? Watch this. What we see in us, as you see us get older, we get chunky in that round daddy belly. Mm-hmm. Puts us in a diabetic state.
Very true.
Watch this. And it puts us in a depression state because what you doing, what he just said, I do myself. I fight myself over my tummy.
Mm-hmm.
If it's little, if it's big. And watch this, it can throw you in a depression that you can't get out of. Because you're sitting there looking at yourself like you're not the same man, or you're not a worthy enough man, or you're not good enough because you got a gut.
I used to be sexy. I don't know if you know. I ain't trying to appeal to you, but I used to be sexy in the street, man. I just want to get sort of sexy, man.
I'm pulling out pictures showing my kids that one day I was skinny. Bro, when you got to do that,
he
like,
really was.
He really was. You know, and my son actually said, "That's not you." I said, I look just like you right now. He said, Dad, you a little darker, but yeah. Then you look like me now. And he asked the question. He said, will I end up doing this? I was like, nah, you gotta keep exercising, you gotta eat right. Look, I'm telling him what I'm supposed to be doing myself. I'm telling him how to get himself. Watch this. I told my son this. I'm raising you to be a better man than me.
Okay.
My daughter, you will be better than me. You will take all my weaknesses, my strengths, all my gifts and lack thereof, and be better than me, because you will combine all of mine, your mother's, and yours. And guess what you'll become? A better person. Understand this. You'll take my empathy and then my lack thereof, and then you'll take yours and your lack thereof, and you'll figure it out. And the concept is, once you figure it out, the better man and better woman you'll be. And you'll make a mark. Yeah, you'll make a mark on this world that most people would never be able to make. And it's the funny part. The reason some people become great is because they realize their greatness through their flaws.
Damn.
And I'm telling you,
I can't be great through my flaws. No, I can't be great through my flaws. My flaws is procrastination.
I'm gonna give you.
How you be great through procrastination?
Check this out. Watch this. And I'm gonna mess your head up. An old man told me this. He said, procrastination is your best friend. He said, because sometimes you got to slow down in life. Sometimes you're running too fast and you miss, watch this, you miss the assignment. You watch this. Procrastinating will allow you to remember where your keys was.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't that crazy?
You put a positive spin on it. You did put a positive spin on it.
You feel me? And sometimes just slowing down just a little bit will allow you to lock the top lock instead of leaving the bottom one locked, and somebody can pick it and walk in your door.
Absolutely. I'm gonna tell my wife that. Yeah. Procrastination allows me to see everything.
She's not gonna have that. She gonna be like, look, Negro,
allow me to evaluate things correctly.
Yes. Because you know what, as a man, we think linearly. Women think with emotions, and then they think on a vaster platform of how to make those emotions into a working process. We think like, look, I got to go get chicken. I got to bring the chicken home. She got to cook it. Women are like, look, I don't feel like cooking it, but what I can make with that chicken is, look, I can do this real quick with that chicken and put a little noodle with that chicken and this, that, and the third. And now you got a whole meal. And it took me 8 minutes where it would have took me an hour. And the guy
sounds good that you could just go ahead and bring a meal home and expect your wife to cook it. That's good.
Exactly. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it's good. It's like, so when are you cooking?
Hey, for all wives out there, there's some days you just don't want to cook.
Exactly.
Real.
And you know what?
It's a team thing. It's a team. You can't be
have you ever realized how a woman does this to a man? Watch this. You bring something in, you thinking she gonna cook, and she looking at you like, really, honey? So look. So when was the last time you made me feel special? What do? Oh, but honey, I can do this. Let me go ahead and wash this chicken. I'm gonna wash the chicken, and you want some green beans with that. You want some Kool-Aid. And she's sitting over there like, I control him. I control his every thought and motion.
Nah,
because they think 3 times before you thought one time.
Hey, what about all the other stuff the wife did the whole day and work too?
Right, but let's be for real. A woman
it'd be different if it was just a stay-at-home wife and you did all that. But we got wives that work and got to do all this stuff, and the expectation for you to do A, B, C, D. And I work just as much as you do. Well, how do I still have to be the one that cook and clean? And
but
you
watch this though.
That's what I feel. I'm that new age.
Hey, Big O, I'm gonna tell you something though. Watch this. My husband doesn't agree with me. Big O, watch this. But them girls get together and have conversations. Have you ever noticed how women do the same thing? It seems like they have the same playbook. They have the same playbook. It's true. Playbook. They conversate and they share knowledge. we as guys, we just going, and I hate to say we can't.
Yeah, we ain't sharing no knowledge. Yeah, we ain't sharing
it. Right. We walk through like, this how it's going to be. And they're like, nah, I don't work like that.
We ain't thinking about that, believe me.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a 2K 2-1 table.
Look, big old thinking he like, I'm gonna try to see if I can work something out.
Hell no. Hell no. I ain't trying none of that.
So what did your family do when you were gone? How did they get over there? What do they do? I'm
gonna tell you. We were doing things like this, like Skype and Zoom.
And that's a real wife, a military wife. Your husband gone all this time, and you gotta. That's a lot. Shout out to the military wives.
Exactly. And it was crazy because this is the deal. At that point, you in another country, right? But I'm in another country sleeping in the dirt in a hole. Understand? I'm bathing with baby wipes. That was my shower. And hunting for food if we needed to if we have no MRAs. Understand the concept. So the scenario is this. While I'm not built for that. She's having to watch this. She's having to manage the bills. Manage the fight between the boy and the girl. You feel me? The kids. Manage the teachers. Watch this. Take care of the medical. Take care of herself with medical. Watch this. Having to deal with your mama and her mama.
So she became a single. She became a single woman. That's all. A single mom. Exactly. A single parent. Okay.
And right. And it's the thing. But at the same time, having to keep your peace of mind while you're there, reminding you that you're loved, that the kids are safe, that you're taken care of. Watch this. That even your own parents are okay because she's keeping an eye on them for you. Isn't that something? And watch this. And then she's having, they call it FRG, Family Readiness Group. Then she has to lead the family readiness group of all the soldiers that are deployed, their wives and husbands and people calling her because they're worried about their own family, trying to see if, since you the officer, that you got some extra word. And she the wife, she may have gotten something that they didn't get. You understand? So she's managing it. What happens is she becomes the actual officer. She becomes the actual commander. And she has to command the troops, which are the civilianized troops, meaning the families at home. And she's as responsible for them as you are with the troops overseas. Isn't that correct? Watch this. And watch this. And this is how it worked after that. Then she got to take care of her own family.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? She got to put them ahead of her family. And then she got to take care of her family on the back end and her own health on the back end. Isn't that something?
Yeah.
We don't really, I hate to say it, we really truly don't give the spouses the credit that they're due because they're juggling something that we got trained to do to take care of soldiers. They didn't get trained to take care of the soldiers' families. They didn't get trained to take care of the soldiers' family that called their house and called them everything but a child of God and cuss them out because their family overseas and the husband is not paying the bills or the wife is not sending a check home and it's diverted into some savings and this, that, and the third, and to the mistress or the mister. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're asking her how to fix that.
Don't you get in trouble for that in the military if you have an affair?
Look at my good eye.
Oh.
It happens all day, every day.
I'm sitting here like, yo, I thought that was a big like, oh, were you cheating? And with that, yeah, y'all both in trouble because you can't cheat with the person there. Now, I was talking about if I was single.
Have you ever? I'm gonna tell you the secret of power. This is the secret of power. When I know your secrets and you know mine, there's power. Sure. When I have no secrets and you do, I have no power. Right. Watch this. But if I have no secrets and you do, and I know your secrets, I'm the most powerful.
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
And this is the funny thing. I can be of lesser rank. I can be of lesser rank than you and know your secrets because I have none. And I rule you. Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's something right there.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it, Major. Nah, you going, hold up. What you got pictures of what? Yeah, you don't got to do it this time.
Yeah,
I'll find somebody else.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly.
Nah.
Exactly.
I listened to the Rule of Law by the old Johnny Teller had a song. My father, before I got married, said, listen, son, you want to listen to this one song. And I was thinking it's going to be something upbeat. You got to love your girl or something. It was like, it's cheaper to keep her. I said,
exactly.
What is you playing? Man? Listen, brother, it's cheaper to keep her.
Exactly.
My wife told me already, Chuck, listen, you mess up, bro, you're gonna be on somebody's futon.
It's better than
you're gonna be on a pallet. She's like, I was like, you gonna break it? He's like,
have you ever heard it's better to keep the devil you know than the one you don't know?
Facts. Because all I know, listen. Because I remember when young boy said, look at Beyonce, ain't she looking good? Man, all I do is I look at Jay-Z, he like, yo, y'all can have him. Go ahead, bro.
He be like,
he happy.
Look, he got a little notepad up for like, here a number.
Yeah. Yo, you know, I had a friend like that. Real talk. I have a friend. Real talk. You know, he was going through something. He was just like, yo, what if somebody try to talk? You know, you going through the boss and everything. Somebody try to talk to you, girl. I'm like, what? I'll rip her number off. Dog, here she go. Blast. He's talking. I said, yo, you's a fool for that. But
exactly.
You know, me, you know, we on the Will and Jada plan, me and my wife. Now, I just told her ain't no damn entanglements. I tell you
no
that.
Entanglements. No entanglements.
No goddamn entanglements.
No.
But you know, we on that plan, like, you know what I mean? Like she told me, like, I just got you to where I want you. You know, I was like, what you talking about? You working on me?
You ain't leaving me. You can live on that side.
I got 20 plus years in marriage.
Now watch this. I bet you this. Watch this. Remember how your grandparents do it? Your grandmother got her little room, a little sewing room, and your dad got the basement. Understand the concept. When I don't want to be around you, I got my own space.
Nah, what I understood of that,
for real.
The mugs used to drink some hard stuff. Like sitting there, like, yo, you can't put that in you gotta put it in glass because it'll eat through whatever. And they drinking brown liquor.
That corn liquor.
They be like this now.
That corn liquor and moonshine.
Yes,
like, right. You get that from the store? We gotta make this shit. Like what?
Yes.
In the tub,
I think y'all making
back in the alley.
Throw a little anger in there.
Yeah, I think they made kerosene. That's what I think they did. It was like you running stuff.
Oh man,
yeah, they up there drinking kerosene with lime juice. It's like it looks crazy out there. Yes. But it's all good. That's what y'all gonna do.
That's it.
Hey guys, we're gonna be starting to wrap this thing up here with the KROSS BARZ, but we could go on forever. I can go on forever. I can just go on forever just talking to you guys on. But I want to see the weapon.
Oh,
see, look at this violent woman. I'm telling you, they even talk about meditating and stuff, and now you're like, let me see the weapon. Like, let me see the way he talking about. We need therapy. We went from meditation to therapy. Let me see the weapons.
Yeah, they ended on the weapons too.
We want to see the weapons. Get the big ones too. Like, come on,
I'm gonna show you something right here.
Because he's military. He has favorite things. And usually we had talked about this before, and before we actually started recording, he showed me a couple of things. I was like, you have to show this. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've never seen it before. I think it's pretty cool. It might.
Okay. All right, hold on. I'm gonna get him on another tangent real quick because we gotta talk about it. Yo, how does the military deal with COVID? Did they make you take the vaccination? They allow you to say you don't want to, or
I'll give you
going rampant?
You asked the right person. Do you know where I work at? I work at Walter Reed Hospital.
Walter Reed. Oh God. Okay, that's the big joint.
There you go. Okay. So understand this. COVID is everything. So what my job is the exception of policies, allowing doctors to travel around the world to fight it, to train.
Is that Doctors Without Borders?
More or less, in a sense, but no, not Doctors Without Borders. Actually, the doctors under the Regional Health Command and DHA.
Got you. Right.
So basically, what it is they're not playing with this thing. When I say they're not playing with this thing, taking all precautions to make sure everyone is safe. Now they've just implemented a process to where we're now and our families are now able to get the vaccine. And they did it in such a respectful way that they're calling. They're like, look, we want to make sure your families are safe. You are our first priority and a commodity to us. So we're providing you that resource. And matter of fact, my wife got a call today. She got the call today about all the family members in the house, when we can take the test. And it starts off with your anniversary date, which is your birth date.
Okay.
So they're going down in the list. So you come at a certain time to the hospital, they give you vaccination, and then they set it up in a way to where they have enough to give you that second one to make sure everybody's okay. So basically, the armies come down with a solid plan to where the soldiers are voluntarily being vaccinated. instead of voluntold.
Yeah. Because that's what I actually was like, all right, you know, for some things that tell you're going to take this shot because you're about to go someplace that, you know, they got some stuff.
If I choose not to take it, I'm not taking it. It's just what it is. And they're not forcing me. But they're showing you the benefit of taking it because it's the deal. Say you don't take it and your family took it, y'all go on vacation and you come back sick and you infect your family. Watch this. Who's the guilt trip on now? You.
Correct. But if they take the vaccination and I know how I'm getting them sick.
Watch this. There are different strands. That's why you have multiple different vaccines. You got to understand, in different areas and environments, every strand mutates. Remember, they got a new African strand. Remember that?
Like 2 new ones.
They got a European strand.
Is there a vaccine for each one? Like we got to take another vaccine?
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not, so put it this way. The vaccination is not a one-off vaccination for every strand. They even said this, Fauci even said this. The European strand does not, the vaccine does not work well with the European strand. So what if I went on vacation with them to Europe and I come back with it and they got the vaccination here and I infected them with the European strand? That's my fault.
I guess it's saying that maybe you're not going to be as affected, or maybe your side effects may not be so bad if you have something.
Right.
And that's the case. At least you have something for your body to fight with than nothing at all.
That's it.
And you go somewhere. So maybe you may get sick, but you may not die. You may just get a little ill, some side effects, some nausea, some flu-like symptoms, but you still overcome it. Whereas if you don't have anything,
because like this,
what's going to happen?
I take the flu shot every year, and I'm gonna tell you like this: every time I take the flu shot, I get sick. It's not, every time I take it, I get sick. But the fact of the matter is, it's not as bad as when I had the flu. The one time I had it really bad, I had gotten it one year. It was years back, and I hadn't taken the flu shot. That thing felt like it was trying to kill me. After taking the flu shot, when I got sick, it was like a small little cold, last couple of days, and it was done. But I would rather have that couple of days than that whole 2 weeks of hell that was kicking my butt. For real.
Right.
So the deal is, how they say, it's cheaper to keep her.
But look, this is like the guns you about to show. So you get into the guns. So it's like, but they say it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
And not have it.
Because look, dude come in the house with a gun and you got a spoon in your hand. What you gonna do?
You're gonna talk about nonviolence. You're gonna talk about you're gonna talk about nonviolence. I'm a nonviolent person. And you're gonna lift my cash expeditiously.
I'll poke your eye out.
You're gonna walk to the door and be like, look, let me give you a tour of all the safes in the house.
Yes.
And these are the combinations.
Absolutely.
Just don't hurt nobody. Just make sure you take everything in here. Look.
They said the only thing could bat a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun.
There you go.
I was like, I said, oh, that's nice, boss. I said, oh, that's nice, boss. So I heard that a few years ago. It was like, you're talking about guns is bad, but only thing that combats a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. I was like,
that's it.
I don't care what you say. If I got a gun, you don't. I'm at an advantage.
I'm winning.
I'm at the advantage. I don't care what you say. Because I remember.
And it's the beautiful part. I ain't even got to pull the trigger. You just hear the. And you're like, next house.
I said this years ago. Like, look, I said this some years ago. I said, you know how you train police? I said, the process in other places of the world was different. But I said, United States, we have a way where we could train police on how to conflict resolution. We can show them how to deal with conflict without escalating to violence and without using a firearm. I said, every police officer in the United States of America should be a substitute teacher for 2 years.
Woo! Hey, look, you get the palms in there. Yeah.
I said, you should be a substitute teacher for 2 years and you successfully work for 2 consecutive, because I don't want you to be like, I'm going to do a month. Then I'm gonna do a month. Work it out now. You got to break 2 consecutive years, 2 school years, long-term substitution, and then you could be a police officer. Because then we know, nigga, you can handle shit.
Yeah. Hey, I said this about kids. To build a kid's self-esteem, self-worth, and value, send them to the Army for 1 year. All they're doing is going to basic training, AIT. They're learning a skill set, so it's a resume builder. And their first assignment only lasts about 6 months. So they see what working really feels like and then let them out.
Yeah.
And that's what There you go. Let them decide whether or not they want to go and be a civilian or continue to serve. Because what happens is most of these kids in high school, the reason there are different levels in high school of who's popular and who's not is because none of them know who they are.
Facts.
And this is the key. They're teaching each other, if I oppress this one group and break this one group down, that means I got power and I'm okay. And they're still not okay with themselves. But this is the deal. In the military, they're sending them off and they're learning and training the same way. And they're all learning their own individual self-worth and teamwork. They walk away with sense of pride, focus, honor, duty, and they're sitting there looking at you in the face. And they're like, you know what? I can make better decisions now, whether I want to stay in or go out and do something else, but I'm strong enough to make the decision and it's my call.
Because what you essentially said is you gave them a code.
There you go.
Yeah, you gave them a code. So, going to high school, you had no code. I'm going to do whatever. Nah, we're going to get your code. And I believe this should happen right after 8th grade, before you go into that summer, going to 8th grade to 9th grade. They should send them to y'all. Yeah, for the whole 3 months, y'all got to go to base. Yeah, basic.
That's it.
Because that's what you got on the street.
They call it the early entrance program. Just send them for the summer.
Them for the summer. Then they come back for high school like, I'm never going in there. They made us run 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting straight A's.
Look. You see the teacher sitting there talking about, everybody sit down there like, yes, ma'am. What else do you need, ma'am?
If all them kids came in and start acting like that, I'd be like, yo, they about to set me up. First thing I'm thinking, I'm like, yes, sir, Mr. Law. You want me to sit there? Just think about this, Jay. Look, a kid came in. Yes, ma'am. Do you want me to sit there right now? And like 6 kids did that all in a row. You be like, man, let me call my mother. Who knows about that happen? I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here looking like, all right, let me keep my keys in my pocket.
Yeah,
exactly. Right out of my coat right here. All right, I don't know what they got planned. They got something.
I think that'd be a good idea, but I still want to see the weapons.
So the first weapon on the show is this is called a bullpup. It's a 12 gauge automatic rifle.
That's
buddy.
If you look at my arm, this is the length of my arm. I can almost cover it in the length of my arm.
It's called a bullfrog.
It's called a bullpup. It's easy to walk around walls with, and conceal.
Ooh, that sounded sexy.
Yes, sir. And it's very.
Does it shoot shotgun shells or does it shoot 223s?
Oh no, shotgun shells, all variations.
That shoots shotgun shells?
Yes. And look, I'm firing at the range. It's like doom, 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 doom.
Shotgun shells?
Shotgun shells.
Excuse me, sir. What is the name of that again?
It's called
bullpup.
Hold on, can civilians get that? That's what I'm asking. Let me ask.
Yes, you can go right to any range and order it.
Okay, because if you said, you can't really get automatic joints, but you said an automatic shotgun. I was like, yo, I heard ARs in the range, and I was like, and then I pull out my pump and like, boom, I got to do it. But you talking about automatic shotgun shells?
Exactly.
Wow.
Fam, that's gonna be purchased.
There you go. And this is the funny part. It only weighs like 6 pounds.
See, I told you this is exciting. Oh,
yeah.
Now this is
my favorite. This is the one I want to get.
Yeah. This is the family's friend right here. This is called a micro-roni. It's a CAA micro-roni. The reason for it, because all this is a shell. You can see you can pull the trigger. It's got the little light. It's got the laser, red and green laser.
Okay.
But this is the thing. You hit the button here on the side, it folds, right? It can become smaller, more compact, and it's just like your pistol. Or if you're going around that wall.
Yeah.
Look around that wall without getting shot in your head.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you flip it upside down, you tap a button right here and you flip this up. You pull out your Glock.
Well, is that a Glock? What is it, Glock 27?
Oh no, this is a Glock 48.
Oh, the Glock 48.
48.
Oh,
but they got one of those.
Every version of Glock, and they have for S&P.
Wow.
So all your handguns, they have a conversion kit for all of them. And this is the thing. Watch this. I'm gonna set this down, and that is the kit. And this is what it comes with. It also has thumb grips right here. Put your thumbs on. So look, watch this. When you grab it, 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb grip right there, and you can manage that little thing. And all you gotta do is pull that little trigger.
Yeah.
And you can walk around corners, and it has a strap here. It's Velcro. I ain't use it. And you can strap it around your arm.
So it don't fall.
It is just the length of my arm. So as I'm going around, everywhere my arm goes, or my head turns and my arm goes, it's going there.
Oh God.
Yes.
Hold up. So the one that you shotgun, that one, so a Glock 48. So that's a 40. That's a 45 then.
No, it's 9mm.
48.
Yep, Glock 48. I'll pull it up closer to the so you can see it.
Got you.
Glock 48. Okay. Yep.
All right, got you.
9mm. Yep.
Yeah. And that holds what, 17?
It can hold as many as you want. I can get
okay, you get to extend it. Okay, I got you.
Right.
Oh, and with this, you can buy the 50 round 9mm drum.
Okay, so, the drums. The double drum.
You can do the double drum. And this is the thing. If you look up under here, this holds an extra mag. So correct. What you already have one inside the Glock. You have
and then drop out.
Mag, so you drop it.
Wow.
Pull it out and load.
I need that.
Okay.
But
yeah, you sound like you were from West Virginia, Jay. Jay, you sound like you from West Virginia. I need that. We're gonna hunt deer. We're gonna hunt deer with that.
Oh, you can hunt deer.
I don't want to kill no animals. No, we're not violent. I can't kill no animals.
With that?
I love the animals.
Yeah, you can hunt deer with this 12 gauge. Yes.
That 12 gauge, man, it'll rip all the type of meat. What you gonna eat with?
Oh my God.
Oh, so that's the deal.
A fork.
It all depends on what you're shooting. Because you can shoot bird shot with it. You can do all kinds of different things.
Yeah, I got you.
But if you put this thing back together, look, you just slide it in, make sure it fits in the grooves, locks it in.
I need that.
You understand? Make sure it locks in. Push the button, click it, and you're ready to go.
I like that one. Let's go to the range and do that. Can we get to the range?
Yeah, I'm going right to my joint actually for that bullfrog. Because you talking about automatic shotgun.
A bullpup. It's a
bullpup. 12 gauge bullpup.
12 gauge bullpup. I'm like, I'm putting 15 in that thing. Beep, beep, beep.
Now, mind you, everyone, there's no bullets in the gun, and the safety is on.
Yeah.
Yes, all the safety. Yeah. And if you notice, every time I cocked it, fire the safe. Always safe. And hey, remember this: never store your gun with your rounds. Never keep a loaded pistol.
That's right.
The reason for it, because this is the funny thing: you got kids.
Correct.
Kids playing with weapons.
Yep.
You got to teach them. And my kids know how to fire. Take them to the range.
Correct.
The thing they don't like is cleaning the weapon, so that makes them respect it. So you got to break it down, tear it apart, see all the moving parts. That's how you teach them to respect it. Also, when you get them to the range, get them in proper form and let them hear that first round go down. Boom. Yeah. Their eyes get that big.
Yeah.
And they're like, this ain't a toy. And watch this. This ain't a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's how you keep them. That's how you keep them focused and they respect it. And they also, I have a safe in the house, so keep it locked up. And I keep my keys because I don't want nobody getting hold of it unless the people that need it got keys.
Got you. I'm about to say, like, if your wife home, she need to get to it.
Yeah, she got keys. Yeah. Or you got a biometric palm scan or a retinal scan.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah.
Quick and easy access.
I used to do like home studies and stuff for like foster care, and part of that was you couldn't have the bullets with the gun, and you couldn't have a glass case unless you had a certain lock on it or something. Because if somebody breaks your house, they can break your case, and all of that. So there was just certain, regulations that you couldn't have if you had, a gun, but that didn't make sense.
But I tell you this.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
That was the fun part. I wanted to
all right, I'm coming clean off.
My bad. Go ahead.
She getting ready to order the gun.
Okay, hold up. Major Don, hold up. Before we get out of here, is there anything that you'd like to promote? Anything you'd like to say? Something that we didn't ask you? Something that you
Yes. Major thing. As Black men out here, and the women are doing great, but as Black men, I need every Black man out here to try to mentor some young man. The reason for it, because not every kid has a father. In my home, I have a kid that lives in my home that's not my kid. He has mom, brothers and sisters, but he lives with me because he needs their father figure. I mentored about 15, 20 different kids. At WVU when I was up there. Major General, 2-star general, retired, Ken Gray, who was vice president of WVU, allowed me to put a program together called Southern Draw that helped us funnel minority kids from North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia to WVU to help meet a minority quota, but they paid for their education. We were able, and my pastor at my church in South Carolina allowed us to use his tour bus. He was being a mentor for these kids, allowed them to use his tour bus to bring them and their families up there so that they can get the opportunity to get a free education. Mentoring kids is everything, but mentoring young Black men will change the world. The reason for it is because we're the ones that are left out. And you go through so much not having a father figure that can teach you how to tie a tie, that can teach you your word is your bond, that can teach you when I look you in your face, I'm looking you in your eyes and shaking your hand firmly, not pulling you close to elbow bump you or chest bump you, but to shake your hand in respect as a businessman. This is a business agreement. This is a friendship. This is us. This is a bond. But then on top of that, teaching young men how to pray. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you don't teach them anything else, make sure they know how to read, do math, and pray. Because when there's no man around and they're lost, at least they know they can bend their knee and pray to whatever God they believe in. And I'm not telling you got to be a Christian, Muslim, or whatever. Be able to pray and get a prayer through, because as the head of your home, you oftentimes have to pray for your family. I pray for my wife when she get on the road. I pray for my kids. Lord, protect and give them traveling mercy over the dangerous highways and byways, keeping them safe from hurt, harm, and danger. Bring them home safe. Understand, a prayer reaches more than you can imagine. And it protects and covers. But at the same time, when these kids are feeling lost and can't figure it out, if they can find a quiet moment and pray, it also, the first words were everything. It finds them, it gives them a quiet moment. It allows them to regain their peace of mind so that they can think through the process and not act. Because a lot of them will do this. Somebody say something, do something. I tell my son this, I ain't asking you to get out there and fight everybody. I said, be smarter than the one that wants to fight you. Understand this, he's fighting out of anger, frustration, and maybe jealousy. But if you're calm and you're smarter than him, you can figure out how not to have this fight. Look, I'm too grown for that. Man, I ain't got time for you, I'll holler at you. Now, mind you, if he put his hands on you, handle that business. But if you ain't got to fight and put yourself in a position to where you're thrown out of school, you're injured in a way that is, we can't fix. You're shot and killed. You understand? If you're able to think your way through a process and a problem, then guess what you just did? You lived. You survived. And guess what the other person did? Lived and survived. Because the biggest thing is we're not teaching our kids how to live and survive through trauma, through issues and concerns and problems. Everything is not a fight and every battle is not yours. We got to train these young.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, I think he's coming back in.
I'm sorry, my phone died on me real quick.
That was good. That was good. You had to snap and said, boom. I said, oh, that was the Thanos snap. That was you gave us the Thanos snap, like, boom. And you better do it and mentor a young man because we need it. And you gave us that. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That was great information we went about on that you were saying. If you have anything else, go ahead and say that. And, this has been wonderful. Did you have anything else to add to that before we, call it?
This is what I have to add. This show is amazing. And the reason it's amazing because y'all, talking to the two of you, it's easy to share knowledge that you've gained over time. And a lot of people want to share knowledge, but don't have an outlet to do it. You've provided an outlet. And it's not just an outlet, but an outlet for somebody else to bless somebody else. Y'all are a blessing paid forward. And I'm truly, I appreciate that because you want to reach a broader audience. You want to reach these kids, and your platform provides that opportunity. And your platform can get so much bigger because the way you and Big O work together, it's perfect. I'm gonna be honest with you. This should be a TV show. This is
I felt that too. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to toot my own horn. I didn't want to toot my own horn. Yeah. I'm just working on my silhouette so I can be standing to the side. Because right here, I look good. When I turn here, it's a little different.
Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, the way y'all work, it reminded me so much of Envy Show. That show they're on, that should be y'all show. Y'all should have the studio just sitting across from each other, having guests come in and then doing your podcast because y'all are that good. Period.
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, man.
You know, and we're doing this in two different states. I'm in West Virginia. Big O is in North Carolina. So we're doing this, and we're doing this via the airwaves, you know, talking and all of that. But Cross Bars ultimately, it's just I really want to talk, not really say the underdog, but the people that don't get to speak. That's what I like about it. They may know about them, but everybody doesn't know about them. And so even though you may be from a small city, or you may be, you know, have some accolades, you know, to go with something, everybody hasn't heard you yet. To me, that's the basis. When you were talking about know your audience, you know, I want to gear it to those people who got it together, but everybody might not know it, but they might need to know your name. And if we could be that, you know, extra thing to get it out there, we want to ask questions that nobody else asks. We're gonna be funny. We're gonna do whatever, and you know, it's an idea, you know, that my husband had, you know, came together with. Malik Brown, shout out, you know what I mean? And Big O was down, you know, he was down. And you need people to believe in the vision, especially when you're not making money or you're just doing it because it's your passion. You know what I'm saying? You really need people to buy in, and those who buy in, you might not see it now, you know what I mean? But at some point, you know, it's going to manifest, and you know, it'll show the fruits of the labor in it, you know, once you wholeheartedly put that.
But Big O made a key point. He said, remember in Friday, they were all unknown actors.
Correct.
And now they're the biggest stars out there, correct?
Correct.
Absolutely.
This is how you begin. And not only how you begin, your skill set is, put it this way, y'all have Friday-esque talent. And it's going to manifest itself in Friday-esque, multiple Friday-esque pay.
All right, watch this. Now you hit another topic right now. Watch this. Who's the biggest star that came out of that first Friday?
Ooh, oh man, Chris Tucker, but I love Ezell.
Yeah, no. Ezell career. I'm talking about career.
Career?
Oh, career? Oh, Chris.
No, okay. Over Nia Long?
Oh, no. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Over Ice Cube?
Yeah.
Ice Cube?
Yes.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Nia Long she's going to the Hall of Fame.
Excuse me. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. See, I was seeing what y'all knew. That's why I throw the jab out there. I'm gonna hit y'all with the hook now. There was one person, she got the best career of all of them. It's Ice Cube's sister, Regina King.
Yes.
Ice Cube's sister.
Yes.
I'm gonna wait. Regina King.
Oh, she's super
Regina
dope.
King.
Her voice is on commercials and voiceovers.
She was on 227. She was the only person. Her and the father was the only really known actors.
Exactly. Because she did
been around for a while though.
She did 227. She did Poetic Justice.
And Boys in
the Hood.
And Boys in the Hood. Yeah.
So she was the, like, of all the people, that's why she had the smallest roles, because you had to pay the roles. but they was all known because what was the girl, her girlfriend that came up to do her hair? That's from Evita from Steve Harvey's show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she looked different. Because I was like,
she does look different
now.
Crazy. And Miss Parker, she's still on, television and going around talking about we need a new Friday. I was like, yeah, Miss Parker, she's still fine though. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? So it was so many. And I'm gonna give Ice Cube this one.
But you forgot Ice Cube's mother.
Absolutely, because she was in Amen. Absolutely, I forgot her name.
And then she was on the Wayans brothers.
The Wayans brother too, as a security guard. Absolutely. But out of all of them, I think Regina King had to, she on another level. I think she's on another level. Ice Cube and Chris. But I'm giving Ice Cube, if this can get out to him, he can give me a little role. I could be in the store telling Easy, get the hell out of here. But they should all do the last Friday around Debo's funeral.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
Cool. You better call Ice Cube.
No, I'm putting it out there. So, this is Big O. I'm the one to set it on air first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
On Cross
I'm going to be
Bars.
honest with you. That by itself would, listen, they'll make about 200 million just for that alone.
Facts.
Listen, but it gotta be better. Like y'all talking about coming to America, because Friday was super dope. So
But look, but it did get better.
Hey, look, here's the concept. Guess what? Debo died, but didn't he have a son?
Oh. Wait, Felicia.
What if he
had a baby with Felicia?
Son and a daughter. The two, a Debo female and a Debo boy.
Oh my no, I
Come
can't.
on, man.
Yeah, him and Felicia had a baby.
Don't get started.
Woo!
Yeah, and we're gonna call, and the last one is gonna be Saturday.
Yes,
We're gonna call it Friday. We're gonna like
Saturday.
And look,
the conclusion to Friday, the last Friday.
And look, Ice Cube's son get knocked out by Debo's son.
Oh man.
Oh,
who Ice Cube gonna marry though? Because remember, there was so many Fridays. It was Friday, then it was next Friday, then it was Friday after next. Or they do Pop's funeral because they both passed.
Bring me along. Watch this. Bring me along back.
You can. That check is gonna be different because Chris Tucker, that's why he couldn't do the rest of the Fridays, because he did Rush Hour and them checks got different. He was like, Cube, I can't do it for you.
That was the perfect mix for him with Rush Hour. That was perfect. Him and Jackie Chan.
Yeah, listen. And he talking about he got 2 commas in his check. I said, yeah, you can't go back to that free when you get 2 commas in your check.
Get some 2 commas in mine too.
2 commas in the check?
The air right now. I need that. That's a poem. 2 commas.
Yeah, 2 commas.
Might be an episode.
Yeah. 2
all
commas.
right. Yeah. Hey, I want to say shout out to you, Major Donwaygo Moore Sr.
Thank you so much.
I salute you today, sir. You are it's automatically just amazing. Just natural knowledge, wisdom, a whole bunch of inspiration. I appreciate you being on the show. Big O, I'm gonna let you take us out today, sir.
Yes, man. It was a pleasure having Major Don here with the J to the next. And I'm gonna just say, just being honest, man, it was a great conversation. I was so glad that he didn't duck any questions, because I gave him some curveballs. Yeah. I was like, nice. Then I threw him some, and he said, "Oh, no." And now I said, "Yeah, the Army very trained this man." He could. He said, "Oh no," he gave me the Floyd, and then countered and said, "Look, they addressing the needs of people, and then I'm gonna give my 2 cents. We need to pray and meditate. Take things slow, but we also know don't run up in his house. He got some things for you." So so he's a well-rounded person, and of course he attended the HBCU where they create the best people on earth. Now I'm gonna forgive you. I'm gonna forgive you because I want to know like, which one is the real HU? Is it
Hampton University
or Howard? Oh, okay. So that's
University.
The real HU. I'm just asking.
Hampton University.
Okay, I got you. So that's the real HU. Got you. But for now, we have Major Don. J to the night. This is Big O signing out. Another edition of KROSS BARZ. Had a great time. Hopefully you did. Hit subscribe. Leave some
all the noobs out there,
hit subscribe. Oh, y'all, you know how to step with the cane? He know it. I got the red on too. I'm none of that. I'm just getting hype. No, I ain't that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, laugh, boy. Yeah. So now you're pretty. Oh, you're pretty.
Stop turning the incorporated on
shoulder shimmy.
Yes. They know them shoulders is wet. Oh.
You better stop. They're gonna come and hunt you down, big.
Okay, I don't want no problems. I have no problems. I have no affiliations. But absolutely, and that's awesome. So for now, we are out. So you know what, man? Yes. We definitely gonna talk again. I already know. I know we're gonna definitely talk again. So because I had a good time, and the only reason we shut down so early, because not too early, because it's been two hours. I know you don't believe it. It's been over 2 hours. We've been talking nonstop with no commercials for 2 hours.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So we signing off, and saying it's been great. It's been fabulous. It's been wonderful, and I appreciate it. So we out. KROSS BARZ.
All right, now. Thank you.
YouTube, Facebook, KROSS BARZ.
Oh, okay. All right. We out.
All right.